All right, guys. Man, dude, I do not feel good, bro. My stomach is just in knots. I ate. So one of the things that I'm learning might be like triggering my stomach is cashews. Let me look at this up. So it's actually so cashew is actually the most allergic nut outside of a peanut. Maybe I'm allergic to cashews. Hmm. I don't know. Anyways, Exxon earnings today, guys. Exxon earnings today. And then we got PCE inflation data later on today. Yeah, but like so my favorite cereal. So I have it's not just nuts in general, right? Because my favorite cereal is I usually eat some type of like vanilla granola cereal mixed with like almonds. And I eat it every morning. Like I eat almonds and my stomach's usually fine with that. So if it's not almonds, I eat almonds all the time unless I'm just kind of used to almonds now, which I guess is possible. But all right, so at 6:30 we have Exxon Mobil earnings. And it's a love on a Saturday there, huh? Yeah, so I got my funded account, man, which is really nice. I got my funded account. You can see this is the Express funded account. Trying to trade the NASDAQ here. Haven't really traded it all on it yet. Don't really want to. Gonna only find A plus setups. I'll probably, realistically, what I'll probably do since this is my first day is I'll probably start with the micro NASDAQ. And then once I have the micro NASDAQ, I'll try to take some positions off of that and see what happens. My max loss on this account, let me look up the Express funded account rules. So let's see the rules. 5 winning days of 200. All right, so the max loss limit in this account. All right, basically, so it's good to build up a cushion in these accounts first. All right, so the Express funded account. Scaling plan. Yeah, so I really want to get funded. All right, so if I'm under all right, so basically until I make $1,500 in profit, I'm going to be restricted from taking more than 2 lots, which I think is perfectly fine, in all honesty. So we're learning. Again, ExxonMobil's dropping pretty soon here. We're waiting for these numbers to drop. All right, Chevron actually just dropped their numbers here. You see Chevron numbers right there. So there's Chevron numbers. They posted second quarter EPS of 320. They expected 313's revenue of 47.2 billion. We can look at Chevron right here, the symbol CBX. They are not reacting well to earnings here at all. Where's their huge squeeze? Yeah, I'm looking up the big market news. All right, guys. So yeah, we're waiting for Exxon numbers to come out. Today we got the PCE data, which is the personal consumption expenditure. It's actually a really big release here that the Fed watches a lot. And so again, guys, we got to build up a cushion today. The micro NASDAQ is going to be my first trade on this express funded account. I'll let you guys know if we take any positions here. The time of CPI today. CPI is not today. PCE is today. It's at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time is when the data drops. We also have Exxon earnings that we're watching. Again, Chevron dropped their numbers. You can read them at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, we're also going to be trying to hit 112,000 subs, which we only need about 210 subscribers to hit 112,000. So we'll hit pretty close. Let me look at what we got going on next week. I haven't even watched it. I know we got some big earnings specifically next week. I'm kind of bummed though because they made Apple and Amazon same day, which kind of sucks, dude. All right, so Monday we got SoFi earnings in the morning. That'll be big. We'll cover that one too. Monday evening, we don't really have much going on for earnings. Tuesday morning, we got Uber, Pfizer, Caterpillar, Merck, JetBlue, Altria. Tuesday evening, we got AMD, which is what we're going to stream. We're going to stream AMD and MicroStrategy earnings Tuesday evening, and then Space also. Wednesday morning, we got CVS, Humana, kind of Kraft, Teva. Wednesday evening, we got PayPal, Shopify, QCOM, Oxy, Robinhood. Thursday morning, we got Anheuser-Busch, Warner Bros, Conoco, Expedia. Watch Exxon. Exxon's going to be releasing their earnings anytime now. And then Thursday, we got Apple, Amazon, Coinbase, SQ. So the biggest earnings day of this year. is it's next Thursday. Because next Thursday we got Apple, Amazon, Coinbase, SQ, Airbnb, DraftKings, Cloudflare, Amgen, Gilead, Open Door, and Corsair, and EXP. So just a bunch of earnings. And then Friday next week we got like Fubo, Nikola, some other ones too. All right, so I am in my first trade on this Express funded account. You can see the Express right here. 2 contracts of the micro NASDAQ is what we're starting it off with, just to get my feet wet, just to get used to this. After this, we'll probably pivot to like 1 contract of the regular E-mini. I don't know if I'm going to take anything else outside of that. You know. And I'm also looking at like economic data here. Oh wow, what a drop. This is why I like the micro NASDAQ. This drop's only $20 in losses, but that's a big drop. I'm gonna have to cut this. Right, so we just lost 23 bucks. Pretty small trade, but it is a loss, and we do have that in the books, but we're not super worried about it. Again, we're gonna just wait for trends and then attack trends on the NASDAQ and the regular E-mini probably. We can only take 1 or 2 contracts, which is something. But yeah. All right, so next week, guys, again, today we got PCE data. In terms of economics, next week we got Monday CPI. So we have the consumer price index on Monday. We also have Chicago PMI on Monday. We got CPI for Europe. Let me clarify. So European CPI on Monday. Tuesday, we have nothing really going on either outside of like manufacturing PMI data on Tuesday. So that's like the biggest release. Oh, we have JOLTS. So Tuesday, manufacturing PMI and the JOLTS job report. Wednesday, we got the non-farm employment change data. Okay, so next week is unemployment and non-farm data. And so that means Thursday we get jobless claims, non-farm productivity, and then services PMI. So Thursday's the biggest day next week outside of Friday, which is unemployment and non-farm payroll data. So next week's a busy week too, man. Yeah, I'm going to trade small and be careful. But the goal is to get funded in a couple of these accounts, to be honest, over time. So, like, the goal is to get funded in a few of these, you know. We just took another loss. We're down to maybe 50 bucks, but again, it's just $50. We're taking it slow. We're trying to take some other trades. All right, so look at Exxon breaking down here. I think Exxon numbers just released. So again, Exxon numbers, guys. Exxon posted 194 EPS versus 201 estimates. Sales of 82.91 beat the 80.19 estimates. So here's Exxon earnings. They did just drop. They missed EPS but beat sales estimates. But you can see they're dipping down pretty heavily in pre-market right now. Again, here's Exxon right here on the right side. They're at about 105. Chevron broke down also today. So starting to break down a little bit more here. Nasdaq overbought intraday like crazy. Yeah, I could see that argument for sure. Again, what do you guys think the market's doing right now? But there's Exxon. Commissions really aren't that bad. They're like $1.50 contract. But yeah, there's Exxon numbers. They did get released here. We're looking at all the rest of the Exxon numbers. So operating cash flow for Exxon was 9.38. Again, 9.38 billion. Second quarter revenue was 82.91 versus 115 a year ago. So Exxon earnings have gone down in terms of revenue year over year for sure. Yeah, I think when I trade this account, I've got into a couple trades this morning in pre-market. I'm just not really feeling pre-market today. I think if I'm going to trade this thing, number one, I need to be careful with it today. I mean, I'm down less than $100, right? I'm only down $65. So, it's not the end of the world. But one of the rules I think I need to have myself is on Fridays in this funded account, I need to take it much slower. Fridays are typically slower days with less volatility, and I just don't want to come anywhere close to losing this thing anytime soon. Ideally, if I do lose this thing, I'd like to have a couple other already funded. BBIG hearing at 10, BBBY hearing at 10 today, Eastern, announcing this Chapter 11 exit strategy in MA. Good chance that Cohen and Carl Icahn are acquiring. Teddy is coming. Oh man, that's interesting. Exxon, how could earnings go down year over year? Well, price of gas has gone down is most likely why, Paul. So like at last year at this point in time, the price per gallon was like $6. Now it's like $3. So the price per gallon of gas has gone down. That's certainly influencing their margins. And again, it's their EPS. Okay, their revenue came in better than expected. They expected 80.19. They showed 82.9. The problem is like last year they showed 115 billion. So again, you can kind of see that number right here for second quarter revenue. They showed 82.91 billion. But last year was 115.7 billion. But it makes sense why, because again, the price of gas has gone down, and so they're going to have worse margins. People buy gas no matter what, and so with earnings and with companies like this, the price of gas is directly influenced, or how much money Exxon makes is directly influenced by the price of gas. So if you look at what gas was at the same time last year, is much higher than it is now. At least in my area, I'm in Texas. A year and a half ago, the price of gas was like $6.50 a gallon. Now it's like $3. So like that's the difference. You know what I mean? Also, y'all do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, guys. I really, 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 really want to hit 112,000 subscribers. But again, gaining 200 plus subscribers today is kind of a hard thing. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. I'm going to put it out there and say it's going to happen. But like, if we don't, it's okay. We've gained a bunch of subs this week. Like, we've gained like 1,000 subscribers this week or so. So that's all right. Polestar bounce. Let's take a look at like Tesla here. There's Chevron on the right. They're down on earnings. Here's Tesla. Tesla's up nicely today. Exxon is still trying here. Yeah, for sure. I don't know how much is gas. I ride a bicycle. At least you're not riding a Peloton, bro. Yeah, honestly. All right, guys. So again, Exxon dropping their earnings. We got the personal consumption expenditure data dropping today. Big day. So Glorilla threw her sunglasses to a fan at Rolling Loud Miami, and her team went to the crowd to get them back. That's dumb. I mean, I don't even know who she is, but like. All right, so again, Exxon down. Tesla trying here. The market, though, man, is just flying up today, dude. The market is up a lot. And honestly, that U-shaped rebound on a long-term chart, on a weekly chart, is looking more and more there. Another gap up today, SPY at 450s. We did drop a little bit yesterday, of course, from a bunch of different things, but the market's down some today, and we'll see if it continues. But yeah, so adjusted earnings, revenue down. economic data this week. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do our tweet about what's going on in the market. All right, revenue coming in better than expected for Exxon. And so again, we're going to put this up on screen. But yeah, Exxon doing better than expected. Revenue decreased heavily. Same time last year showed 110 billion. So big decrease in Exxon earnings, 110 billion. 115.7 billion a year ago. All right, so PCE data comes out today, which is huge. Expectations for PCE this morning are at, and again, we do have the personal consumption expenditure this morning. Those expectations today are at, today's the 28th. PCE today is expected to show, core PCE is expected to show at 0.2% and 4.2% on the year. Again, 0.2% and point. Is volume bad on my mic today, man? A couple people telling me that. Oh, my bad. This is my, sorry guys. Yeah, I'll fix this. Hold on. There we go. That should be much better. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, that fixed it. 4.3% expectation. Again, 0.2%, 4.2% on the year. All right, so again, we also had Chevron. All right, but again, PC data comes out. It's huge. Expectations for core 0.2% on the month and 4.2% on the year. Higher is worse because higher means higher prices. And this is the Fed's preferred inflationary metric. So pay attention to that. Again, so we also had Chevron drop their earnings. Chevron again showed EPS of 308 versus 297 estimates. Higher than expected EPS. Sales beat as well at 48.9 versus 48. Do we have anything else dropping today at 8:30? I know we got the PCE data. We got
personal spending and personal consumption, and then Canadian GDP data. And then we also have the Michigan consumer sentiment data also dropping today. All right, so again, Michigan consumer sentiment data also drops today with expectations of 72.6. 72.6. GDP data dropping. All right, so let's take a look at the earnings so far. Again, we got some earnings that are out already here. Maybe the other ones are out, I guess. I'm in Snap still, but I haven't checked it. Yeah, I'm in Snap. I'm down small on the trade after pulling back yesterday. But again, it's a very small position. Not really going to be the biggest influence. I'm actually up really nicely today, specifically on gold. Disney's up again today. AMC's up a little bit today too. Yeah, it could affect it. I'm not sure how much though, but it could. Yeah, so what happened with my mic was that it was picking up my camera mic. So like this mic right here was picking up my sound instead of the actual mic that I have right in front of me. So it's just the wrong mic that's set up. Well, it might be greater for currency, but I'm talking about for equities. Yeah, we should be okay now. Again, but Snapchat's actually green on the day. What did gold do? Did gold change the tune yesterday? Yeah, gold is what dropped a lot. That's all right. AMC is squeezing very soon. Maybe, man. You know, a recommendation for everybody at home about AMC is that, like, look, man, don't get your hopes up. That's all I'm saying. Don't get your hopes up. I haven't even sipped coffee today. I've been thinking about giving up coffee, man. But I love coffee. But I've been thinking about getting it up. I've been watering it down a lot in the morning so it doesn't mess with my stomach. All right, look at Tesla pop. Tesla is sitting at 259s right now. Tesla's sitting at 259s. SPY is currently at 454.40s. 454.40s. Bitcoin currently sits at about 29,500. We got Procter and Gamble dropping theirs pretty soon. All right, so yeah, Procter and Gamble. HTR also dropping earnings today. Yeah. All right, so we just made our post on Twitter, kind of breaking down everything that's happening today in the markets. We talked about Exxon earnings. We talked about PCE data. We talked about all that stuff. We'll see how many of you guys actually support me here. Here's the link. Check it out. Great way to help support your boy in this channel. There's the link right there. Hey, what's up, Leo? If you just could take the time, hit the follow button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate the love, guys. Thank you so much. All right, we got the core PCE data stream. Again, PCE data, very important. There we go. That should actually be pretty good. Yeah, so we got the PCE data live today, guys. I'm excited, man. Make sure my monetization is on. There we go. Where's the poll? Did I not do a poll today? My bad, guys. Sorry, I'm kind of working in the background. I'm going to enjoy the break this week, man. How about those UFC fights this weekend, man? Here, we're going to do a poll. PCE come in higher or lower than the 0.2% expected. All right, so this PCE come in higher or lower than the 2% expectation. We're going to give 3 options: higher, lower, or as expected. Here, higher, lower, as expected. Again, vote on that poll. Let me make sure I got that right. It's 0.2% expected, I believe. Let me make sure. We also have the Michigan consumer sentiment data. Yeah, 0.2%. What's up, Pawn? Yeah, we're just going to do higher or lower. So basically, higher is going to mean worse market reactions. Lower is going to mean better. Again, this is an inflationary gauge, so it's going to be gauging inflation, right? So the personal consumption expenditure coming in hot is not good. We don't want to see this data come in high. We want to see this data come in low. I'm going to put the Q up. I've been liking the NASDAQ a lot more than the SPY. Now, I always conventionally traded the SPY, so I'll still always watch it. But I've been watching the NASDAQ more and trading it much more. Yeah, I have been watching the UFO hearings. I talked about it a lot yesterday in terms of like the Van Daniken theory and ancient aliens and all that stuff. And again, I'm not saying I believe all that stuff. It's something that I've always been kind of interested in. My mom was really interested in that stuff too. But I don't know, man. As you get older, you kind of just realize that, like, the people, listen, I'm not here to be political or religious or anything like that. I stay away from politics and religion. But I think the people who say they know for sure what's going to happen when we pass, you know, I don't know if I could trust that. You know what I mean? I think we got to be honest. Nobody knows. We could be in a simulation. I think the simulation theory is honestly really, really interesting. You know, and if you don't know the simulation theory, and maybe that's what the religious texts are talking about anyway. They could all be related, to be honest. But like the simulation theory basically says if it's possible for humans to create a simulation technology that is as realistic as what we're currently seeing in our eyes, then it's actually far more statistically probable that we are already in that simulation, that we're not in base reality, right? And that's a trippy thought. There's some good documentaries on it. There's some good documentaries on it. Does the market react? I'm looking at 380 on the Q to short, possibly. Hey, what's up, Doug? Yeah, it's a good theory, man. It's a good theory. I told Carol that theory, and she was freaked out for like a month. She was like, she told me, she was like, man, I just keep thinking about it. I was like, look, it's a weird, you know, it makes sense. That's why you keep thinking about it. And there's a good documentary. It's something about the Matrix. I can't remember what the yeah, it's called a Glitch in the Matrix. Is the documentary. Watch it. Really trippy documentary. But anyways, so the market's pulling back a little bit. We've mostly been on an uptrend. The market fell heavily overnight, guys. So like, or no, heavily yesterday. Look at this huge drop in the market yesterday. So that the Q, for instance, dropped all the way from 380 all the way down to 375. So $5 a share on the Q. Not super heavily. I guess it's not much more than 1%, but still a big drop nonetheless. Yeah, there were some hilarious jokes. My favorite joke. Probably my favorite meme out of all these, and again, I'm not really like a big cannabis user, okay? Like I don't consume cannabis, like, but like I think if you ever have, this is hilarious, you know. And some of y'all will understand this, and some of y'all won't. But this is probably my favorite meme out of all the memes we've seen, or out of all of them from that. That's probably my favorite one. Yeah, it didn't. I guess you're right, King. It probably only fell about like a little bit over 1%, but no, I genuinely laughed when I looked at that one. But Tesla testing the 285.50 level. We'll see if that holds. Hey, what's up, David? Hey, thank you so much to everybody liking my tweets. We're trying to grow our Twitter account, and we have been growing our Twitter account, man. I'm super pumped about it. Like our views have been increasing nicely, you know. We got a little rhythm of like posting where we know it's kind of getting some views and everything's going well there. So we're just trying to grow it. All right, again, PCE inflation data is huge. Look, there's a little bounce there. So there's a little bounce. 258, not 285. Sorry, got your hopes up. 258. Thank you, Hustle. Yeah, I wish it was at 285. Yeah, 258.60s. Nvidia moving up as well at 465.50 right now. 465.50 for Nvidia. Again, the Q bouncing pretty quickly here off of whatever EMA this is. See, I don't want this EMA though, bro. I just want the 200 EMA up. I don't want this one. Go away. This 115 one can go somewhere, dude. Trend projection. All right, here's the EMAs. Manage indicators. VWAP. EMA. Where'd it go? What have I done? What have I done, dude? No, don't save the changes. Here's the VWAP. That's nice. What have I done? I accidentally got rid of the freaking 200 EMA. Sorry, I'm still kind of learning how to use this. Okay, here it is. This is what it is. VWAP. What have I done? Reset. Edit. I don't want to edit the VWAP. I want the EMAs. Reset. Yes. All right, so we just reset it. I'm gonna have to hand do this one, I think. So manage indicators. Again, PCE data today, though, guys. Big release today, honestly. Been a pretty big release. There's the EMA exponential. I want the, there it is. There's the 200 parameter. P1. Okay, I see. I just want the 200 EMA for P6. Boom, I think that's it. But no, maybe that's the VWAP. Yeah, that's the VWAP. Okay, there we go. P6 is the one I want. All right. Now, how do I add that bad boy now? Hey, there's the 200 EMA. There it is, EMA. I just want one EMA here. That's all I want. I'm just going to get rid of all these. Yeah, there we go. I just want to make the color purple. Well, let me write purple here. Color purple. Good work. All right, good. Dope. My programming instinct's kicking in. All right. So right, so there's the EMA. There it is, the 200. This is really the one I want. All right, you're just gonna make me make these invisible. I really just want the 200 EMA. It's very program friendly, which is nice. All right, so there we go. We got the 200 EMA. We got the VWAP up on the chart. There's the 200 EMA. There's the VWAP. That's exactly what we want. All right, so again, the Q is still under it a little bit, not really doing that much, or still over these. You can see why we're watching the VWAP. Look at the holds that we get at the volume weighted average price. Like a little pullback here, bounce, nice. Pullback here, bounce, nice. Man, I had some vivid dreams that I can still remember. Disney breaking down? I haven't even looked at Disney. Oh, I'm still green on Disney, but it did break down yesterday. Again, my average price on Disney is $85.22. Disney at $85.70, so I got a really nice average. Nvidia's pushing up right now. It's at $466. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. So look at what Hustle said. So Hustle said GDP would say PCE comes in higher. Economy seems to be heating back up. That's correct, right? So basically, the reason he has this logic, and this logic is actually correct, right? It's never 100%, like it's never super definitive in terms of what we know is going to happen or what we think is going to happen. But this logic is correct, which basically there's usually it's a pendulum, if that makes sense, in which the higher GDP growth, the more inflation problems there are, because when the GDP number goes up, typically the prices go up too, right? And so with all that in mind, that's something to pay attention to with regards to the PCE, the personal consumption expenditure today. Now, it doesn't really mean too much because, inflation data has been consistently getting better. So you can also look at PCE. You could also look at GDP, but you could also look at CPI coming in better than expected recently as well. So, all of that stuff could influence it. I hope it comes in low, because if we have low PCE and good GDP growth, the market's going to be looking pretty nice. And again, I'm not saying we're going to have that. I don't know what we're going to get, but I hope we get that. I mean, it just means economic growth. Now, let me pull the Discord up. I haven't even pulled it up yet. Scammers. You invest in Tesla. 258.70s. Again, Nvidia at 466.80s. PCE is expected to come in at 0.2% today, 0.2%. We'll put this number up on screen so everybody can kind of see it. But again, expectational numbers for this is 0.2%. Yeah, I just messaged you a couple times, Pawn, on Discord. Nvidia ripping up at 467s right now. I think this is really kind of helping drag the market up. Here's Nvidia at 467.30. It's just pumping up right now. Intel. Yeah, Intel dropped earnings and they did freaking great, man. So Intel did drop their earnings and they did amazing. Again, Nvidia is starting to push the market up, it looks like here. So Nvidia running the market up right now. Again, we do have PCE data today. It's a big day. Again, so Nvidia is still ripping up, dragging the market up. Q at 380s right now. So the Nasdaq at 380s. It's not applying for Top Step. You're paying for a combine. You're paying for a challenge account, John. And so it's a monthly subscription, but it's $49, a month for the combine account, which is cheaper than a lot of demo accounts are going to cost anyway. Which I think people have to look at it the right way. And then if you pass it, once you pass it, my Express funded account, there was a startup fee that I had to pay for the Express funded account, but now I don't have to pay any monthly fees for anything in my Express account and my funded account. So market fell a couple times yesterday. Hey, what's up, Chris? Nokia. Yeah, Intel did great on their earnings, it looks like, man. Intel killed it. Intel showed, and again, this was yesterday, they beat EPS versus 3-cent loss. They ended up showing a surprise profit for Intel, so Intel gapped up nicely. So again, they showed 13-cent profit, better than the 3-cent loss estimate. Sales came in better than expected as well. Noticeably better than expected for Intel, too. It could be microchips helping them. But yeah, that's probably what's going on. It's just microchips helping them. What do you think of TAP earnings? So Tupperware is TAP, right? Or no, TAP's not Tupperware. Tupperware is TUP. TAP. I don't know anything about this company. It's down. It looks like a beer company. Oh, it's Coors. Yeah. I don't know. It looks very strong on the year. Very strong on the year. But it could be just moving up with markets. I just don't know I don't know how these things typically act, if that makes sense, right? So I don't know how these typically act. I don't know if they usually act good, they usually act bad, or anything like that. I don't know. We're also going to put a timer up. So again, we got about. It did it again, bro. It did it again, dude. Okay, so this is the second time in a row that I've said, hey, let's pull a timer up. And I didn't have to adjust the time at all. And I just pressed play. And it counts down to exactly when the economic data I wanted to comes out. So there's a couple things here. Number one, it could just be an algorithm that says, hey, he's usually setting this timer to 8:30. That's one possible theory. I could be getting really, really lucky. Or my behavior every day could just be very predictable in that I pull up the timer at the same time every day. which is about an hour and 10 minutes before it starts. But that was weird. Again, you guys see that? I pulled the timer up and it was exactly right. The time specified was exactly right. Again, I don't know, but man, weird. Hey, what's up, Shepard? If PCE comes in higher than expected, what happens to the dollar? If PCE comes in higher, the dollar will probably go up. So if PCE comes in higher, the dollar will probably go up because, again, that means higher inflation. All right, and again, I see TAP pulling back here. Well, let's see if NVIDIA holds the 465 VWAP level. Like if I put the moving average up and the VWAP up here, let me see if I can mess with it. But if I put, let me put the indicators up on that one. Let's see. So I'll put the indicators up, manage indicators. There's the moving averages. I just want the 200 here, to be honest. Like I like the 200 EMA. We'll take the rest of these off. I also want to make this yellow. I like the indicators is yellow. So there's that. And then we also got the VWAP here. I like making this VWAP purple. Okay. And there we go. We should be good to go. So there's the VWAP. Let's see if we can throw the EMA up here. There's the EMA. So there's the 2 EMA and the 200 EMA and the VWAP. And that's pretty close to where it is on TOS as well. Maybe a little bit off, but no, that's about right, actually. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is basically the same spot. So yeah, we got a little pullback in NVIDIA. Now, if we think NVIDIA is going to bounce, we could take a trade here. Again, we are funded today. And so we have been trading our Express funded account. But my job before I take any big risks, I understand myself. And so I understand, like, honestly, I understand that unless I'm funded in more than one account, I'm going to be super anxious trading this account. And so my job is to again, there's my Express funded account. We're in it. Nice. All right. So again, my job is to try to get funded in more than one account. I just got to be really careful. I don't want to trade crazy, in all honesty. Like, I don't want to trade crazy. I'm watching NVIDIA very close. Again, I got to do the same thing, which is build up a cushion first, and then once I have a cushion, then we can swing a little bit harder. So that's the plan. That's the goal. That's what we're going to do. And again, PCE data might influence all this stuff. I think yeah. I don't know. I think if you're trying to get funded though, Pawn, like for me, what I realized is that the micros didn't help me on my path to get funded. Like they just didn't. They slowed me down. I spent so much time trying to trade the micros, and the gain that you're going to make in those, unless you're like a couple $100 away from getting funded, at least for me, I don't think I had any business trading micros. I just don't think I made enough money, if that makes sense, right? Like I don't think I made enough. So we're up about 300 in one of these other ones. I don't think I made enough with them, and I think they just kind of slowed me down. Where it's like, I think you got to take these and you got to be okay with losing them, and you got to just take risks, and you're going to lose them, and you got to be okay with resetting or buying another one. And you got to just do that until you're funded. And then once you're funded, you got to just scale down your size drastically from how you were trading in the challenge. Like how you should be trading once you're funded should be much different than how you're trading when you're trying to get funded. Right? Because like when you're trying to get funded, you got to take lots of calculated risk. Like you got to take big max size. And again, you can make 50% in a day. And so you like in the 50K combine, if you want to get funded quickly, really, I think one of the best strategies is just to buy a bunch of accounts, swing really hard, try to make $1,500 the first day. And then once you got $1,500 in profit, and you're going to lose some accounts doing this, but like once you got $1,500 in profit, then, you take calculated risk. You still got to be risk. You still got to take risks, but you can slow down a little bit and then just try to kind of slow and steadily get that done. So I think like the best way is to take like 4 counts and then swing really hard. Say you get up to 1,500 in 2 of them on one day, and then you just kind of go for like $500 a day for the next 2 or 3 days and see if you can hit that. And you don't lose over 500. You either make 500 or you lose 500. If you lose over 500, you stop and you wait for the next day, and then you do that again until you're funded. And I think that's the best way to do it. I think that's the way you're setting yourself up for success in these. And again, you might have, there's either that, or if you just want to kind of take it really, really slow. But again, I tried the slow approach, and it just took too long. But again, it is subjective. So like, and again, it took me a while to get funded. So, but I think using my system of like building up a cushion, and then once you have a cushion, taking larger risks is the right move. That's like what I've been doing. That works really, really well. Build up a cushion. Once you have that cushion built, then you take larger risks, and you just gotta have discipline. It's easier to stay away from the big drawdowns for sure, Pawn, but it's also incredibly difficult to make big gains. Like having a 5 contract limit on the micros means that you can only make about $100, $150, $200 on a trade. That's a very slow trade. So unless you just have a great day where you're getting 5 or 6 green trades in a row, it's going to be very hard to really get funded that way, and that's what I realized. Again, this is just my own experience, right? This is just my own experience. Maybe I'm wrong, and it's very subjective. Everybody's different. Some people might be able to do it with the regular micros. They might be able to make big gains with the micros with longer term trades if that's what their system is. But for me as a scalper, just trading the micros just didn't work. It just took too long. It just slowed me down. Like once I started trading the NASDAQ and I stopped trading the micros altogether, I got funded within like a 2-week period. But right, or if you want to check out Top Step, here's the link. So if you hear us talking about it, again, they've got a huge sale. I think the sale's ending this weekend. They help teach you correct. Well, there's free funding coaches. Like there's a wait list for the funding coaches, of course, because they're free. But like, yeah, there's some resources that help you. Yeah, and it might be there might be some other ways to do it, Pawn. Like I said, this is just my own personal experience. But again, my bias comes from like I like trading small because you guys know me. Like my TOS account's already funded, my MooMoo account's already funded. You know what I mean? And like in those, I trade small. Like I don't take big risks. I don't like big risks. And so I was kind of the same way where it's like I wanted to trade the micros. But I realized like even 5 contracts in the micros, like even the E-mini moves too slow. And I think if you're trading momentum and trends, like it just moves too slow. You know what I mean? Because I think like if you're trading the 50K combine, you got to bring in big accounts. Like you got to do big. You got to do big stuff. You know what I mean? You gotta swing big, and you know, if you spend too much time on it, it's just gonna take a long time. All right, so here's me on another account right now. You can kind of see we are up nicely on this one on the day. About 95. I'll go ahead and take another off. And so yeah, we're up about 360 on this account right now. So about 360 is our graph right here. Nice little pop up. We're up about 400 or 500 now. I'm gonna get out the rest. Yeah, we're up $500 on this one. So we got our cushion on the day. Again, our job is to make it 1,500. So if you lose, yeah, I mean, you're only spending $49 on the combine. I use Quant Tower, Batman. It's my favorite one. Yeah, so I use Quant Tower. Again, do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. Bump those like numbers up if you haven't already. Yeah, so again, it's a monthly fee, so you pay $49 a month. And again, I think the sale ends this week, and I'm not 100% sure. You know, we had the CEO of Top Step on our live stream, Michael Patak. Great dude, great company. We had him on our live stream during the FOMC meeting on Wednesday, and I think he said that they're probably going to end the sale after this weekend. And so if you ever wanted to sign up, you know, again, it's $49 for the life of your subscription. So yeah, but I truly think the best way to take these and get funded, guys, and this is what I talked about with Michael, and Michael agreed. Michael said he has the same strategy, and this is a guy that's been like pit trading for decades. You know, he was a pit trader back in the day. But like, think about it like this, you know, the NASDAQ and the E-mini move much faster than the micro NASDAQ and the E-mini do. That's obviously true, right? But the way you have to use it is you have to build a cushion first. And if you don't build the cushion on the day, you got to just sit out for the rest of the day so you don't hit the daily max loss, right? So like you build up a cushion. So you take one contract of like the E-mini or the NASDAQ. You just take one. And the NASDAQ moves a lot better than the E-mini in my opinion, even though it's faster. But you take one contract. And if you get a good trade where you make $100, you know, $150, then you have a nice little cushion. You can take a little bit larger swing. You know, and so then once you have a cushion of a couple $100, that's when I scale up my size when I'm trying to get funded. So like at this point, I've got a cushion of $500, and so I can take max size if I want. I could take 5 contracts and swing, and really go for that $1,500 gain. You know, I do that twice, I'm funded. You know, I do that twice, I'm funded. Where I make $1,500 a day, I build up a cushion of $500 and do that twice, I'm funded. So and then if you lose on that trade, there's 2 different options. Like you can do 2 different things. You could say, hey, I'm up $500. If I lose $500 on this trade, I'm cutting it. And then you're flat. And then you can take small size and build up a cushion again. That's a great option. Or you can do the same thing with micros. You know, you can build up a cushion of micros. You can build up a cushion of $100 to $200, which is very doable with the micro NASDAQ is what I would use instead of the micro E-mini. I'd use the micro NASDAQ. Build up a cushion there of a couple $100, and then trade the regulars. You know, like that's an option too. But again, I'm biased in their favor. They're a sponsor of mine. They pay me money, so I'm biased, of course. You know what I've been listening to, man? So Eminem signed this guy, and it's like a rapper, you know, and like Honestly, it's pretty good, dude. It's pretty good. I've had the song stuck in my head. He's called Easy Mill. He's a Mexican rapper. But honestly, the song gets stuck in your head, man. So like, watch this video if you haven't already. Let me share it with you. So Eminem signed this rapper. There's the link. Check it out. I've had this song stuck in my head for days. Yeah, I like Quant Tower much more. Batman. Quant Tower is just easier to use for me. But what you see right now is MooMoo. What you see on screen right now is MooMoo, which is a stock platform. And MooMoo is really nice as well, guys. There's zero commission stock trades. They're open the entire time in pre-market. So it's like I might buy a little bit of NVIDIA right here, to be honest. So I'm thinking about buying a little dip in NVIDIA. I might buy like 15 shares here. See how good that fill was, dude? I got filled immediately with a market order. Or not a market order. It's a limit order that follows the market price. Right, so I'm in 15 shares right now of NVIDIA. We just bought 15 shares. And again, I can trade the entire time in pre-market on MooMoo. Zero commission stock trades. If you open up an account and deposit $100, they give you 5 free stocks. If you open and deposit over 1,000, they give you 15 free stocks. You open up and deposit over 5K, they give you the previous 15 plus a free share of Google or Tesla. And this is just really nice. Like, look, I can see the best performing sectors. I can pull this up more and see what's moving in pre-market, after hours, see different lists here, IPOs. I can go to US, I can go to crypto and see what biggest crypto markets are moving here, which is just incredibly useful, to be honest. I can go to explore here and see a heat map right there as well. I can pull up strategies and see head and shoulders, triple bottoms, what are triple bottoming right now, bullish flags that are in the market right now. I can go to dividend payouts, futures, announcements, IPOs. Their paperfolio section right here allows me to track profitable traders. This guy's up 1.3% on the day. You can see his portfolio on what he's up, and I can follow him if I want to kind of copy his trades. So just really cool, really useful. And again, their news section is really one of the best in the game. And you guys know me, I use economic calendars a ton. So I can look at their calendar here. And again, let me show you how I specifically use it. All right, so here's their economic calendar. If I want to see like the really big releases, like the really big economic releases, I go to 3-star, which is the biggest, right? So these are only the biggest releases. And for us, we're in the US. So again, in North America, the biggest releases today are PCE data. These are the 2 biggest releases today, PCE and core PCE. That's what's today. I can look at earnings and see what's going on with earnings, all that good stuff, and see it the same way. Just really, really useful. And again, the platform's completely free, and you get free stocks for signing up. It's a pretty good argument for it, guys. Pretty good argument. If you want to check it out, here's the link. I'll also pin it to the top of the chat. I've heard about M's new rapper. Yeah, for sure. He's good, man. He's good. Listen to him if you haven't already. He's pretty solid. So I didn't really understand all the orders. So yeah, so this is useful, guys, because, okay, so like the easiest way to put it is like, you can only use limit orders in pre-market. So you can't use market orders. You can only use limit orders in pre. All right, so you can't use market orders, only limit, right? But on this specifically, right, on this specifically, I can have it follow the market price, even though it's technically not a market order. But I can do this with anything. I can have it follow the mid price, the limit price, the bid, the ask. But like if I want an immediate fill, I can have it follow the market price and get filled on market. And so that's very useful. You know, in every platform, universally, you're not allowed to use market orders in pre-market or after hours and extended hours trading. I think I'm gonna go at like I'm in Walgreens and I've been holding it for a long time. When is Walgreens earnings? I think I might cut it. September 26th. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut Walgreens. I've been in it for a long time, and the market's just up a lot. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just get out of this one now. I've been in it for so long, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of my Walgreens trade again. I've been in this for I don't know how long. So we are out, I think. Yeah, so we got filled. We're out. Nice little trade though, man. Beautiful swing trade. We made a bunch from it. Still in Nvidia currently. I don't know what I want to do. We're not down much. I think I want to sit in. I like the pullback to the VWAP and the 200 EMA here. But again, PCE data will influence this, so I don't know if I'm going to hold it throughout that. Oh, he's Filipino? Okay, my bad, Philip. I didn't know, man. I saw some comments that said he was from Mexico, but if everybody thinks it's a short today, it probably isn't. Yeah, I mean, the market's very contrarian, so it's like one thing you'll see is if everybody thinks it's one thing, it's probably the other. Not always, though. The market does this really good job of not being hard to predict. All right, guys, we still got about 45 minutes before this data comes out, 45 minutes before PCE data. It's pretty big data release. It's not the biggest release, but it's still somewhat important where we should pay attention to it. We're up a little bit in this next trade here. Let's see. A really nice gain again here. Again, you can kind of see we're up another $160, $170. We'll go ahead and take half off, lock that in. We're about 600 on the day. I'll hold the rest flat and let this work a little bit. There we go. All right, we'll go ahead and cut that now. So yeah, we're up 700 on this account on the day. So we're halfway there. We're halfway there. Again, $700 gain on this account. Again, the other thing that's definitely a huge part of the system is I'm only trading trends. I'm only trading trends. I'm not trying to trade reversals anymore. Only trends. I'm so confused, man. All right, so again, Nvidia dipping down. I'll probably have to cut this. I'm not gonna sit on this too long and get too stubborn. We're down like $9. So yeah, so you see how fast like market order and pre-market works well. It's not technically a market order, but How do you define a trend? I mean, there's three types of trends in my eyes, right? And aside from that, it's very subjective, right? But there's three types of trends. There's an upward trend, a downward trend, and a neutral trend, right? That's all we really have. Now, there can be extension and levels to each of them where you're going to have really big uptrends that are obvious, really big downtrends that are obvious, less obvious uptrends, less obvious downtrends, so forth and so on, right? But up, down, neutral are the three trends that I follow. That's all I mean. I mean, if like the stock is pushing up, like here's a good example, right? So if we look at Nvidia right now, today, and I'm not talking about long-term trends, but today, here's the trend. We go up, up, up. That's the trend. We're in an upward trend, right? I'm not going to short Nvidia right here, right? Why not? Because it's in an upward trend this morning. You know, I'm not going to go against the grain. I'm not going to trade against the market. That's a bad move most of the time. Now, if we get really extended, you know, maybe there's some arguments like if Nvidia's goes like this on the day where it's up just crazy amounts, then maybe we could consider something. But again, mostly I'm just attacking trends. That's all I want to do. So the NQU3 is no good. We didn't roll over yet for the N3 or for the U3 one, did we? For the NASDAQ, we didn't roll over yet, huh? Your poll says 0.2, but shouldn't. No, 0.2% on the month, 4.2% on the year is what it is. Also, guys, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm really trying to I'm really hoping to hit 112,000 subscribers today. Yeah, I mean, so basically, every quarter, the contracts and futures roll over. The futures market, there's no PDT rule, right? You can day trade short. But it's not really meant for long-term trading. Like the futures market's not really meant for long-term. Why? Is because your contracts roll over every quarter. So every quarter your contract rolls over to the most liquid contract, right? So like right now the contract is the NQU3. If I try to trade, I got to type in NQU3 right now or MNQU3 depending on what I'm trading, the macro or micro E-mini. But yeah. But yeah, y'all hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. All right. All right, guys. Q's still pushing up at the 380s, and the Q is basically the NASDAQ. It's a NASDAQ ETF. Let's see. So has anybody tried YouTube podcasts? All right, guys. So again, we do have so with Jerome Powell. Next month we've got another Jerome Powell Jackson Hole conference, right? I think somebody told me that. So I think next month we got another Jackson Hole conference, and it's a yearly thing. So I'm excited for that, man. That's one of our biggest streams. All right, guys. So we are hanging out right now. All right, so visibility. So we still got a little pullback at NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA could hold that 200 EMA. We still got about 40 minutes before this data drops, guys. About 40 minutes. Good day to you. Keep it real. Cry about it, bro. Man, thank you so much for the sub, man. Thank you so much. Is the news going to affect gold that much? I'm not sure. They're trying what again for futures? Yes, it can be more than expected. If it will be is a different story completely. I don't know if it will be. It can be more expected for sure. Again, anybody that cries about like subscribes, like threatens to unsub or not subscribe, like I'm just gonna ban you and put you in timeout. Like that's just a childish thing, you know. It could obviously be higher or lower than expected trading medic. If it will, we don't know. Again, there's some implications here. It could be better, it could be worse, and there's a few different reasons on why it could. So GDP data yesterday dropped. It came in at 2.4%. Right, which is noticeably better than the 1.8% expectation. It's kind of like a pendulum swinging back and forth, right? So it's like sometimes sometimes they're inversely related, specifically inflation fears versus recession fears. And so GDP growth is good economically, good economic wise, I should say. So again, high GDP is good for economic growth, good for conventional economic growth. GDP data coming in higher than expected is great for that. Obviously, jobless claims numbers came in low, which is again signals economic growth, right? But typically, economic growth is bad for inflation problems because, again, as the economy grows, a lot of the time prices rise, right? Which is obviously inflation, right? It makes inflation worse. And so in that regard, with GDP data coming in much higher than expected and then jobless data coming in lower yesterday, which is good, jobless claims coming in lower, which means less people filed for unemployment. Again, that could mean worse inflation problems. And again, today is the PCE index, the personal consumption expenditure. It's the Fed's preferred inflationary gauge. Now, core PCE is the big one. Again, expectations today are for 0.2%. And it drops today at 8:30. Again, PC coming in high or low. Let me know. Let's look at the poll numbers here. The Fed statement document says, translated, that higher rates can cause higher inflation due to higher cost of producers. Therefore, I bet that they're finished with rates. So you don't think they're going to raise rates at all anymore this year? Yeah, also, guys, anybody that asks me if I should buy Tesla today, I don't know what y'all should do, man. Like, y'all act like I've got a crystal ball. Nobody does. And, like, y'all should learn to figure it out for yourself. Y'all, you shouldn't ask me. I'll give you guys help. Like, I'll tell you guys what I think. But, like, asking me, should I buy this today? I don't freaking know whether you should or not. I have no idea. Nobody does. Honestly, and if they act like they know exactly what something's going to do, you should trust them less, guys. You should trust them less. All right? Nobody knows. All right. So just remember, nobody freaking knows if the market's going to go up, down, or sideways today. Nobody knows if PCE data is going to come in higher or lower today. And again, the people who are the most definitive usually rub me the wrong way because nobody knows. And I understand that nobody knows. And so the people that act like they know are usually just trying to sound cool. Remember, just be safe. Don't take any big risks. Don't just trust blindly anybody on the internet either. Can y'all not hear the music today? Can y'all not hear the music? Yeah, it's a guessing game. That's something you got to understand. Okay, music is good. All right, good. It's all about probabilities. Exactly. Like, we can make probable bets on different outcomes, right? And we can look at different things and say, hey, this is more probable, this is less probable, this is highly probable, so forth and so on, right? Like, that's very common. Like, I could look at Apple and say, hey, it's highly probable that Apple goes up long term. You know, I could look at Tesla and say it's pretty probable that Tesla goes up long term. I could look at Google and say the same thing, right? But it's never a certainty. And the shorter you zoom in, right? The more closely you zoom in, the less and less anybody freaking knows. Okay, no matter what they say, right? And so the more you zoom out, the easier it is to predict. Again, the biggest long-term edge in the market is that long-term blue chip stocks of the S&P 500 and NASDAQ are going to go up. It is not an arguable thing. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ and broad market ETFs, the market's going to go up long-term, right? You know, that is with a 100% certainty. Not 100%. I would say it's probably closer to like 98.5% that the market's going to go up long-term. Right. And you might say, well, John, what if the market crashes next year? That might be true. But if you zoom out, we know in 50 years from now, the market's going to be higher than where it is. It's an almost certainty, right? Unless some crazy stuff happens, right? But again, the more you zoom in, all right, so here's the 8 a.m. scrum. Again, the more you zoom in, the less anybody freaking knows. So the more you zoom in, so like my point is, like, I can easily predict that the market's going to go up over the next 50 years. If I zoom into tomorrow and say, hey, what's the market going to do tomorrow? Nobody freaking knows. Tomorrow's market's closed. I guess that's pretty easy to predict. But if I zoom in and say, hey, what's the market going to do Monday? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We can only speculate. And again, it's kind of a coin flip. ENPH. Yeah, a lot of people. So I know, there you are, Wilfredo. So what did ENPH end up doing, man? ENPH down 140s. And again, we do have our funded account today, so we are going to be trading our funded account today. Yeah, BBIG at $3. Yeah, BBIG just seems horrible. I've been telling people about BBIG for a while, man. BBIG is just a terrible company, just not a good company. It's not like, again, I don't know what gets behind retail investors. I don't know if they just have a limited bankroll to where they can't really invest in blue chips. Like, I don't understand what gets retail traders into like investing into these crap companies, man. I mean, I guess honestly, maybe I'll correct myself here. BBIG's had a nice little upward trend since for the last 30 days. Right. And the trend's been pretty obvious. And so maybe I'm just wrong there. Maybe I'm just biased. That's true, I guess. But I don't know. I just would never put money in these things long term. Maybe you could tax short term trends over the last 30 days, but like parking my money in this thing for like long term, you know. You ever wonder like who, like whenever you ever wonder like who gets talked into pyramid schemes? I would safely say people who buy BBIG do. People who invest in companies like BBIG are the same people that get talked into buying pyramid schemes, because the argument is the same thing. Do you want to be rich? Do you want to be rich? Start your own business, financial freedom. You know, same thing with BBIG. Do you want to be rich? BBIG is going to go up. It's going to be crazy. You know, same argument. You should not believe either of them, right? They're obviously just kind of telling you what you want to hear, but BBIG's got a huge following of investors. I'm not trying to be a hater, and again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a hater, but yeah. Oh, it did get delisted. BBIG delisted. Yep. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, all aboard the hype train. First stop, your bank. First stop, take all your money. Second stop, tell you you're going to get rich. Again, if the people who are getting talked into buying BBIG, again, I told, like, and this is something that I've been very open about. People were in here talking about BBIG last week, and I said the same thing. I said BBIG's crap, right? Now it gets delisted today. You know, it didn't even open up today. You know, again, watch The Wolf of Wall Street. You want to know why, like, what's happening to you, why you're getting talked into buying all this crap? Watch The Wolf of Wall Street. Watch when he sells the traders. He quotes it. It's saying he's selling garbage to garbage men. Okay, he's talking about Aerotine International, cutting edge firm out the Midwest. It's really like a shack whose mom answers the phone, like the guy's mom answers the phone. All right, but he's selling them on what? He's selling them on, hey, this thing's gonna make you rich. It's gonna pay your mortgage. Just put some money into it. Same thing that went on with BBIG. Same exact thing. You know. Palantir is interesting because Palantir is AI related. And so while it is a smaller cap stock, it's got a little bit more validity because of AI potential, I think. But again, I don't know. All right, Q's still moving up, though, a little bit here on the 8 a.m. scrum. It's up to 380.50s right now. We still got about 25 minutes here, 25 minutes team. Yeah, I'm not really trying to hate on people. I'm trying to snap them out of it. I'm trying to wake them up, and sometimes the truth hurts, you know? What happens if you have a stock before they get delisted? You lose everything. Sometimes it'll go to the pink sheets, and then you'll get a little bit of it back, but not always. I don't remember if I made money or lost money on BBIG during the last run, but I always remember you saying stick to blue chips, which I've done with more success. 100%. I mean, it's just the edge is so obvious in blue chips, right? Like, listen, you diversify into blue chips, you sit on it for 5 years, you know, and you listen, you could take the 100 largest companies in the world and literally throw a dart at a dartboard and whatever stock they landed on, buy it and do that for 10 times. And like, you're almost certainly going to make money in 5 years, right? You do that with penny stocks, you are almost certainly going to lose money in 5 years. You know, that's the big difference. And that's the difference that a lot of people, you know, don't listen to. Again, I think it panders to their gambling nature a lot of the time. I think if you're a gambler and you love the rush, right? What gives you the biggest rush? Penny stocks do. You know, that's not good. I don't know anything about that plumbing. Never traded it, never held it. Don't know about it. All right, guys, we still got 30 minutes, guys. 30 minutes. Did I get rid of the timer accidentally? I think I accidentally did. Here we go. Okay, there's the timer. All right, guys, again, PCE index data, PCE. I've been thinking about buying one of those ultra wide monitors, like those big monitors, and just replacing my whole bottom screen. The only thing that stopped me is that I actually like separating them by monitor, because that way I don't have to like mess with the settings as much. Yeah, all good, CT. No worries, man. So when I first started trading, some people on YouTube saying buy Party City. So like I bought it 2 years out, and now I cannot cash it out. Yeah, I mean PRTY. I mean, that was an obvious failure, though. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on you. Of course, it happens to everybody. I remember I bought a bunch of total crap when I was a new trader. So I bought a bunch of total crap. So don't think I'm being condescending, because it happens to everybody. It really does. But Party City is one of those ones where it's like Amazon just ate their lunch, man. Amazon just destroyed them. Like, and if you think about the actual logic behind it, it makes sense, because it's like, okay, Amazon, people aren't going to need to go to a retail party store anymore. They're going to order that stuff on Amazon and get it shipped to them same day or next day now. They don't have to go to a retail party store anymore. Mail order stuff like Amazon is going to replace that business. Same thing with it's the same thing that's happening with Bed Bath & Beyond. Right, it's the same concept, it's the same problem, it's the same issue. They're both obsolete now because of stuff like Amazon. So it's the same thing. It is what it is. I mean, it happens, you know. No, I'm not using a footprint chart, man. You've asked me that every day for the last 3 days, and I keep telling you, no, I'm not. And for whatever reason, you keep asking. Hey, good luck, Shepard. Again, I'm nicely green today, mostly from gold. Gold popped back up, bouncing up a little bit. I'm still in Snapchat. It's such a small trade. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much sensationalism going on with penny stocks. Like, what you learn very quickly is that the people, like, realistically, like, if I'm being honest, the people in the market who talk the most about how much they make, you know what I mean? The people in the market that talk the most about how much they make, that flash their fancy cars the most, that wear the biggest diamond chains and flash their fancy cars the most, are usually the people who make the most from courses and don't actually make a lot of money in trading. And a lot of them also just tell you to buy crap. They're telling you to buy these. Misery loves company. Like, the best example I can use is Atlas, right? Atlas, obviously pumping up stocks for their own gain. You know, for whatever reason, you still got some of their following who are just kind of refusing to look at it objectively, and instead they're still defending them. Because I think when you spend so much money on something, it's very difficult to look at objectively. You know, if I spend $5,000 on a course, it's going to be very hard for me to accept that course was nonsense, or that these guys were scamming people. And so, but Atlas was obviously pumping up stocks. They were calling out stocks. They're probably front loading into stocks, pumping them up. once they pumped them up to their following, they were unloading their shares on their following, because their following is going to be the one that holds the crash, that gets stuck in the crash, right? And then they were making millions from that, But again, what are they pushing? They're pushing low float penny stocks, because that's the manipulatable ones. That's the ones where if you got a huge following of millions of people, you could pump up a low float penny stock pretty easily, So you tell everybody it's a great buy and you get rushes of orders coming in. That's what happens. And it's kind of a gray area. It's not actually, I don't know whether it's technically illegal or not. And they might actually get away with it because it might not be technically illegal. It's a gray area for sure. But their court case will show us. Oh, all good. All good. No worries. All good about the footprint chart. Yeah, it's all good. What do you think of the new Top Step one-step combine? I'm funded right now. I got funded this week. I'm trying to get funded on my second one today, but we are funded. So I'm pretty pumped about it, and I'm excited about that. Don't put that stuff in the world. He said, hard feeling. I lose 1,000 today. I'm not saying I believe in the law of attraction, but I do believe in positive thinking. So think positively. Don't say that. All right, so we got a little dip, a little dippy here. How about these fights this weekend? All right, guys, we got a little bit over 15 minutes. A little bit over 15 minutes. I am using Quant Tower. Slightly higher than expected. Again, let's look at our poll numbers here. I forgot to do a Twitter poll, which is not good. So we get PCE data drops soon. Inflation. Again, Bitcoin, ETH coming out today with some stuff. Again, do me a favor, bump that like number up here, guys. We still got about 15 minutes before the data actually comes out, about 15 minutes or so. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So yes, market, we're going to do a Twitter poll. All right, so y'all do me a favor. We'll see how many people truly support the channel. Vote on the PCE poll we just did. Again, PCE data drops soon. Here's the poll right here. Again, vote on it real quick. If we can get a bunch of people to vote on it, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. There's the link right there. Again, there's the poll. Vote on the poll. Yeah, I am ready for some football. I am using Quant Tower. Nothing's wrong with Top Steps service. Trade Evade has issues, but that's not really, doesn't really have anything to do with Top Step. I think they're doing their best, but Trade Evade's not like an exclusive Top Step. It's just kind of a broader platform that is available a lot of different places. I like using Quant Tower though, and so I highly recommend Quant Tower. Quant Tower is really nice. All right, guys, we got about 600 people here. Here, if you want to know what I mean by funded account, just stick around, guys. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Again, we're getting ready for PCE. I don't want to do too many plugs or advertisements right now. It's a little early for plugs or advertisements. So, again, we're going to wait. NVIDIA still holding at 465, and 465 seems to be a nice little level here. We'll also put the SPY up, but look at the Q start to bounce a little bit. So the NASDAQ moving up some. Q currently sitting at about 380.30 or so. The NVIDIA stock is still sitting right over the 200 EMA. You can see why I watch the 200 EMA, though, as well, because, look, this is why I watch it. And again, if you don't understand, look at the bounce right off of that 200 EMA. But again, if you don't understand, so let me give you a breakdown into inflation data, metrics, economic data, and all that good stuff, right? So again, because beginner trading, what we really are is an economic channel. We cover economics here. We cover economic data. That's like our main niche, I would say, is economic data. So today we have what's called the personal consumption expenditure release. The core one is the most important one. And when you hear core just means that it is excluding food and energy prices. So core means excluding food and energy, right? So the Fed seems to think that that's a more accurate view on inflation. And I kind of disagree with them a little bit, but they know more than me, of course, because I think that food and energy are some of our largest purchases. And so watching the price of food and energy is very relevant for inflation. But regardless, the core one is the most important one today. But again, in terms of economic inflation data, right? This data drops monthly, once a month. Right, the biggest inflation data we get is called CPI. It's the Consumer Price Index. We also have PPI, which is the Producer Price Index. CPI is buyers, so it's consumer inflation. It's inflation for us, which is consumers. And then PPI is business inflation, how much prices are rising for businesses. Anyways, that drops once a month, and CPI is usually the largest watch. Like retail watches CPI more than any other one, including PPI, including PCE, which is today. Like for the CPI stream, we usually have like 3,000 or 4,000 people live, which is not the same as what we're going to get today, of course. I mean, I hope we do. I'm going to put it out there. We're going to get at least a couple thousand people here, but still, CPI is more important. But the Fed and Jerome Powell like looking at PCE, which is the personal consumption expenditure. It measures the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers for the purpose of consumption specifically, which is why the Fed seems to think that it's a more accurate inflationary metric. That drops today. It's chain weighted and adjusts to changing consumer behavior. And so that's another reason why, the Fed likes this one a little bit more. And again, it drops today. They are expecting 0.2%. For PCE price index, 0.2%. Last time it was 0.3%, and that's on the month. And again, core PCE is the most watched metric. It's the most watched metric versus regular PCE. And again, core on the month is expected at 0.2%. Core on the year is expected at 4.2%. And the regular PCE is expected on the year at 3.1%. And the PCE month over month is expected at minus 0.1%. We also have personal income, personal spending, personal consumption, and Canadian GDP that drop all in 10 minutes. At 10 a.m. today, we also have the Michigan consumer sentiment data, which is all relevant data for inflation as well. It's important stuff to watch also. Because again, we're trying to gauge inflation. The real nuance of today, though, and yesterday is that yesterday we had GDP data drop. And with the recession fears earlier this year from the banks failing, we had some recession fears, especially with, the market dipping over the last 2 years. The market feared a recession earlier this year because of the bank issues, because the banks blamed their failures on rate hikes, and the Fed had raised rates over and over again. I think over 500 basis points the Fed has raised rates during this last kind of few years. But anyway, there's usually sometimes there can be an inverse correlation with GDP and other things that signal economic growth, like GDP and more people working, which we saw less jobless claims, so less people filed for unemployment. And we also showed higher GDP data, so economic growth, right? But again, sometimes there's an inverse relationship with that and inflation data. So higher GDP growth means more buying coming in. And what happens when more people buy? Prices rise sometimes, right? And so that's the nuance of today, where yesterday we had very good GDP data. We expected 1.8%. We ended up showing 2.4% yesterday. So again, signaling economic growth. But what that can sometimes mean is that inflation goes up, prices go up, right? So that's the nuance and the lens to look at today's PCE index under, is that will all of this mean we get higher prices? And again, that's what to look at today. Again, we're expecting 0.2%. We show higher than 0.2%. That's going to mean prices are going up more than expected. We show under 2%. It means prices are dropping more than expected. And typically, there's going to be a negative correlation here. So like if inflation data with PCE comes in high, or say it comes in at 0.4 or 0.5, it's probably going to make the market fall. And vice versa. If inflation data comes in lower, say we show up at 0% or 0.1%, that could make the market go up. It's never a definitive, like, for sure thing, but it's something to watch and pay attention to. And so, yeah, that is the PCE data release today. Again, it drops in about 7 minutes here. 7 minutes, guys. Let me know what your predictions are. Yeah, Alexis, with Quant Tower, the only tricky part of Quant Tower is like getting it set up at the top, right? So you got to go to the DX feed. You got to find Top Step. You got to go to the DX feed here. You got to find Top Step. And, you got to scroll down, find Top Step right here, and then enter your credentials into the Top Step connection. And then you got to connect to it, is what it is. It gave me some trouble originally. But yeah, that's what you got to do. All right, guys. Hey, we got about 6 minutes. Yes, we're going to tell you. And again, the reason we typically get a lot of people here during these releases, because we cover the data quickly. We get a lot of people that show up because we cover it fast. And so we're pretty known for covering it quickly. So, hey, subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Let's keep the growth up. What's it say at Alexis? What issues it giving you? I mean, you can always reach out to them. Top Step's pretty helpful in that regard. But yeah, here we go, guys. About 6 minutes left. 6 minutes. Again, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button as well to make sure you're like fully caught up on the stream. Also, so you want to make sure your live button. Again, you want to make sure your live button looks like this. So like you see how the live button on the stream is red? You want to make sure your live button is red also. NVIDIA popping up ahead of this. The Q popping up some as well. Look at the Q. So the NASDAQ's ripping up. I'm going to put the SPY up here. The SPY breaking highs too. So markets starting to push up ahead of the PCE index data. Again, core PCE is the big one. Is there more news? Is there good news in the cannabis sector? What's the news? All right, so one of the ECB members said that the monetary policy must be stubborn and they need rates to be high enough to keep them there for as long as possible. It usually takes maybe like 20 minutes, Aviv. It's not always exact, though. It varies. You should get it today, though. They should give you an email giving you your credentials to log in. All right, guys. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. A little bit over 4 minutes, but about 4 minutes left, guys. Yes, it's released at exactly 8:30 a.m. And again, we're going to cover it quickly. Y'all can try to find it yourself, but we're going to cover it very quickly. We've got a couple sources that usually give it to us pretty fast. If you guys ever watch these streams, typically we'll get this economic data within, a second or two. So you could try to look it up once it's released, but we'll probably cover it pretty fast, to be honest. All right, so again, we got 4 minutes, PCE data coming out 4 minutes. We are ready. Core PCE is the big one. Again, 0.2% is what they were expecting, 0.2%. Again, will this do well? Vote on our poll. Guys, vote on our poll. Well, the market closed green today on today's PCE data is the poll. All right, guys, we still got a couple minutes left. Also, give me a follow on Twitter. Here's my Twitter page. Give me a follow, vote on that poll. We cover all this stuff quickly there too. Well, I mean, YouTube is where we stream every day, so stay on YouTube, but yeah. SPY push it up. Look at the SPY rip. Here's the NASDAQ on the left side in the queue. All right, guys, we got about 850 people here. We still got a couple minutes left. What's the highest viewership you've ever had? One of Jerome Powell's meetings, not meetings, but it was one of Jerome Powell's interviews. We had over 8,000 live viewers. That was the most we ever had. All right, guys, y'all ready? Here we go. Again, make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're subscribed as well. We are also going to throw this bad boy in sub-only mode. And so, again, we'll see who our true supporters are. It's in sub-only mode. All the subs, announce yourself. Show us that you're subscribed. I appreciate it. All right, guys, here we go. Still got a couple minutes. Okay, thank you, Salah. 15 contracts on the E-mini, man. You're a brave man. 15. Braver than me, bro, with that. All right, guys, we got about a minute and 15 seconds left. A minute and 15 seconds. Minute and 5 seconds now. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're caught up on stream. Hey, what's up, Kelvin? What's up, dude? Hey, thank you, Shepard. Thank you so much. What's up, Maximus? BG, Bow, Raha, JC, AI. I'm not really expecting anything. I don't know what I think yesterday's GDP data could mean this comes in low, or this comes in high. I think yesterday's GDP data could mean this comes in high. I also think it could very easily go the other way because we've seen consistent improvement in inflation, and the market looks resilient. So I don't know. I really have no idea. Not an investment professional, not live. Look at the Q rip up ahead of this, guys. Wow. Look at the Q. Q with the big pump. All right, here we go, guys. 20 seconds, 20 seconds. What's up, John? All right, guys, we got about 10 seconds left. 10 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Here we go. 5 seconds. 2 seconds. All right, here's the release. All right, so I see employment benefits coming in at 1% for employment wages, benefits 0.9%, employment costs. All right, there's PCE data. Again, the PCE data is not out yet. Okay, there it is. PCE data came in at 0.2% as expected, 0.2% for core PCE. Regular yearly core PCE came in at 4.1%, slightly better than expected. So neutral data here. Neutral data, again, 0.2% versus 0.2% expected, 4.1% on the year for core PCE data. So slightly lower than expected core PCE. Regular PCE came in as expected at 0.2%. So as expected, inflationary data. So not really good, not really bad, pretty neutral reading here, but as expected. Again, as expected, 0.2% on the month, 4.1% on the year, which is a little bit better than expected there. But basically as expected here. We'll put this up on screen so you can see it, but basically as expected for core PCE. So that's good. It's good. I mean, it's not bad. Markets. So technically, guys, remember, this is a neutral reading. So technically, this is a neutral reading. There's the data right there at the bottom of the screen. Again, technically, this is neutral. All right, so neutral data here, guys. Neutral data. NVIDIA is still consolidating. This is pretty much flat movement right now in the market. Pretty much flat. So again, what do you guys think? Let's do it. Let's check out our poll numbers here. We asked people, does PCE come in higher or lower? 42% said higher, 29% said lower, 29% said as expected. I'm going to go ahead and end this poll, and then we're going to go ahead and do another poll here with PCE showing 0.2%, with PCE coming in, or with core PCE coming in as expected. Does the market close green today? Yes or no? Vote on that poll. Data is neutral, so it's neutral. Market's actually moving up a little bit relative to the data release, but it's technically neutral. They expected core PCE to come in at 0.2%. It showed 0.2%. A little bit better on the year, though. So core PCE yearly was 4.1%, and they expected 4.2%. So 0.1% better than expected on the yearly data. But the monthly data, which is a little bit more watched for this specific metric, came in neutral, as expected at 0.2%. Now, vote on the new poll we just did. Yeah, what's the dollar doing? I'm watching it now. Again, this is a flat reading for the most part, which is not bad. Again, with GDP data coming in, it's good that we didn't see any super big rises in inflation for personal consumption. Dollar index is flat too. It's moving up a little bit, but you are biased. You want it higher because GDP. I mean, no. I mean, you're wrong, Zach. To be honest, it doesn't really matter too much to me either way. If I do have a bias, it's on the upside. Like, I'd like the market to go up, and typically lower PCE data is going to mean better price action relative to the market. So, yeah. Yeah, it's good news, I think. I think this is great news. I think as long as we're not seeing super high inflation, considering the GDP report, this is great. Again, this reading, a neutral reading, is better than saying we should, better than if we showed up at like 0.4% or 0.5%. That would almost certainly make the market tank. So 0.2% is fine. You know, it's not bad. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all good, Zach. We could tell it's your first stream here, man, because again, I don't really have too much of a bias for this stuff. But I got scared of the flat action, only took 5 points. Yeah, you with your 15 contracts, man. Braver man than me. This is good news because the market seemed to be anticipating higher inflation data after yesterday's GDP, considering it came in line with the Intraday. Yeah, that's exactly right, Troy. I think that's exactly right. I think this is a W for it, even though it's as expected, technically neutral. Yearly PCE data for core came in better than expected as well. But I think that's a win. I think as long as we're not seeing super sky high inflation data with personal consumption, I think that's a W. Yeah, all good, Sal. And again, subscribe if you haven't yet, guys. We appreciate it. If you want to help support the channel, we cover this data completely free. Bloomberg Terminal costs $30K a year. We cover it. You can watch us for free. Okay. Again, if you want to help support us and help this content stay out here, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Thank you so much. We really love to hit 112,000 subscribers today, and we're very close. And so if you could take the time, hit the subscribe button, we appreciate it. We do have a couple of lovely sponsors. The first one is Top Step. Top Step is a funded program in futures where if you want to day trade this activity, they fund you if you're good enough. So what they do is they give you a demo. It's only $49 for the base demo. They give you a 50K demo with that one. And if you can hit 3K in profit on that 50K demo without losing over 2K and following the rest of their rules, they fund you 50K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first $10,000 in profit. And I got funded this week. We got funded on there. And so I'm pretty pumped about it. You can see my Express funded account right here on Top Step. And we are going to be day trading on this one today. But this really is a great option for traders that don't have that much equity and really want to day trade. In futures, there's no PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, currencies, gold, silver. And the patterns in something like the NASDAQ are very similar to the patterns in like Apple or Tesla. The NASDAQ is the Q. Right? It's the QQQ basically. A little bit different, but it's the Q essentially, price action. And again, you can day trade in futures, no PDT rule, and Top Step is the most legit funded program in the world. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year. They fund thousands a year. Again, they've been around for over a decade, and it's just the cheapest way where you have limited risk. It's $49 for the base combine. So your risk is very small. Most people lose thousands when they first get started. So your risk is very small of this $49. But if you pass it, you still get a 90% split. You still get to keep 10K of your first profit. And in that regard, it just makes perfect sense. If you want to check it out, they are a sponsor of mine. Great way to help support your boy here and keep this content out there. Hey, thank you, Tim. Yeah, definitely a W. I think it's a great thing if they come in like this. Yeah, I have 3 of them. Yeah, for sure. And again, you can get funded in as little as 2 days too. And again, we're pretty green in some of our other accounts today. Like here's my graph in one of my other accounts, which we got a bunch of these. Like here's my graph. So we are up a cool we're up a cool 700 roughly today, 690 in this one. So we're halfway there. The goal is to make 1,500. I would really like to, by the end of next week, to have 3 funded accounts. And I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. I'm going to have 3 funded accounts by the end of next week. Right now I have 1. We're looking to have 3. I'd love for one of those to be the 150K one too, but we'll see. Core PZ was neutral. If inflation data continues to come in line, no more rate hikes. Maybe. I think there's a chance we're probably not going to do rate hikes regardless anymore. I know originally, like not this past FOMC meeting this last Wednesday, but the one before that, Powell said that they would probably do 2 more hikes this year. So we got one Wednesday of this week. Now we have 3 more meetings left. And so the question is, do we do another hike this year? A lot of people think no. And again, if you look at what the expected numbers are, if you look at the CME group, if you look at the CME watch tool right here, which is basically showing you the probabilities of rate hikes and all that stuff, you can see no rate hike is at 82%. So no rate hike is at 82%. So it's pretty probable we're not going to raise rates during the next cycle. This might change a little bit leading up to the next report, which is going to be in September, but yeah. All right, so again, I see a lot of people talking about Japan. So just to report on that news, Japan, kind of rattled markets yesterday. You can see the big drop in the S&P and all that stuff, but you can see the SPY being pretty resilient today, bouncing back up. The Nasdaq's pushing back up today, but yeah, the Bank of Japan tweaked the yield policy. All right, so yeah, they held rates. So the Bank of Japan held rates, but adjusted the YCC stance. The Japan's 225 index slid about 2.5% today. They adjusted their stance on yield curve control policy. It also held its benchmark policy rate at minus 0.1%, which is in line with estimates from economists. But they said they will continue to allow 10-year government bond yields to fluctuate around plus or minus 0.5%. They said, however, they're going to conduct a, quote, yield curve control with greater flexibility regarding the upper and lower bounds, the range as references, not as rigid as limits in its market operations. So that kind of scaring investors. That's what ultimately made the market drop. If you look at the Q yesterday, for instance, you can see this big pullback around this announcement. And market's looking a little bit more resilient today, though. We basically bounced all the way back from yesterday's drops. Prior to this drop, we were at 381.60s. Currently, we're at 381s roughly. So we're basically back all the way up, maybe down 60 cents on the Q, which is nothing really percentage-wise. Everyone gonna buy the dip? Maybe. I'm not buying anything yet. I took some profit this morning on my Walgreens trade. Dude, there is 1,000% chance they will hike again this year. The price of everything is not budged. There's not 1,000% chance of anything. There's not 100% chance of anything, Matthew. It's all very, it's never definitive. It's all probability wise, and it's certainly not 100% chance they're going to raise again this year. Again, monetary policy changes a lot. It's not about the prices of everything changing. It's more so about whether inflation goes up over time. Prices rise over time. It's an inevitable thing, right? So prices are going to go up, over time. And so prices freezing is not a bad thing, like you're insinuating it is, right? Because if prices freeze, that's good. Because when prices have been going up so much, so fast over the last few years, prices freezing is good. you know. And again, we have seen improvements in inflation over the last year for sure. Gas prices have certainly gone down since, a year ago. Gas in my area was $6 a gallon. And gas is one of the biggest things we buy. It was like $6 a gallon a year ago. Now it's like $3.50s or whatever it is right now. So, yeah. Again, I don't like definitive statements. If somebody says there's a 100% chance of anything, or they say this is going to happen, then I usually trust whatever they say less. Again, market's mostly flat though, starting to push up some. Yeah, I use Quant Tower. Yeah, I'm going to let the market settle first. All right, so look at what MS says. So MS says, I just built my house. I can assure you that prices have come down quite a bit on materials. Hey, thank you, Kay. I appreciate the dollar, man. Thank you so much, bro. I see you every day, man. Thank you so much. Intel did beat, man. They did really well. U.S. market dropped on the high bond rates. It was a surprise, almost 5%, yeah. Hey, what's up, Wesley? Big drop at 4x, yeah. And again, we'll see what happens today. We still got Michigan consumer sentiment data. All right, so we're looking at stuff. Again, I'm probably going to wait for the dust settle. Again, we are funded in one of our accounts, but we're trying to get funded in a couple more. So again, we'll see if we get that today. Also, guys, check out MooMoo. MooMoo is one of the great platforms that I'm using to track what's going on economic wise, I should say. And again, one of the ways I'm tracking it, number one, MooMoo is a sponsor of mine, but they're just really useful. They're open the entire time in pre-market, which is great. I can trade at the very start of pre-market at 4 something a.m. if I want. But again, you can kind of see here, there's a lot of traders I can follow. It shows me what traders are up. This guy is up 130% basically on the month on EVLO. I can see what they're holding in their portfolio. This guy's up 31% on the month. You can kind of see he's holding Upstart, Rivian, Neo, Mara, and a bunch of other ones. And I can follow him if I want. I can see when he buys different things down here. And again, just really, really useful. I can go to Explore and track all the different stuff in terms of IPOs, rankings, dividend payouts, futures, screener. I can build a really nice screener that I can track from PE ratio, see what's undervalued. And this is a really good scanner as well. Hot strategies, I can look at some triangles, diamonds, wedges, see what wedges are in there in the market and look that up. Market hotspots, I can look at a heat map here, see what best performing sectors are. Again, really useful. Free unusual option activity for options here as well. But again, what I really like using these for is if I go to news here, I can go to the economic calendar and I can specify what I want to look at. Here's earnings, so I can see all the big earnings and what happened. I can go to economic data, which is really what I use it for. I can go to 3-star, which is the largest. So this is only the big economic data coming out. And you can see for PCE data is the biggest one. I can specify for North America only and see, like next week, we got JOLTS and manufacturing PMI. We got the non-farm employment change data. We got jobless claims, services PMI. We have non-farm payrolls and unemployment next Friday. And so again, really great zero commission stock and options trades. Or I don't know if it's options trades, but I know it's zero commission stock trades. And if you open up an account, deposit $100, you get 5 free stocks. You open up and deposit 1,000, you get 15 free stocks. And I got like Palantir and some other ones. You open up and deposit over 5K, you get 15 free stocks plus a free share of Google or Tesla. And I got Tesla. And so I'm pretty pumped about that. But yeah, if you want to check out MooMoo, they are a sponsor of mine. Great way to help support the channel. I use Quant Tower on Top Step. You talking about MooMoo or Top Step, Adam? So MooMoo is a U.S. regulated broker. I'm not sure if they're available to you. You'd have to look that up. Top Step, I'm pretty sure you could use them, but I'm not 100% sure. I use Quant Tower, guys. So I use Quant Tower, and I'll show you Quant Tower right here. Quant Tower is really nice. Again, I use TradeEvade some. I know TradeEvade had some issues lately. I love Quant Tower. And again, I'm always honest with it. Originally, I used Quant Tower because, Top Step's a sponsor of mine. So I was contractually obligated to use Quant Tower for the first few months. At this point, I'm not contractually obligated to use them anymore, and I still prefer them over everything else. Quant Tower's dope, man. It's great. It's super useful. It's better than Trade Evade because originally I liked Trade Evade more. But Quant Tower grew on me quickly, really nice, super easy, and just really nice. I just really like it. But again, it's subjective. Yeah, you can trade pre-market on Top Step. Yeah, for sure, JD. All right, guys. Hey, we got a couple minutes left, couple minutes. Yeah, super clean, easy. I just really enjoy using it. It's just really nice to use, All right, guys. So we still got about 45 minutes or so until the market opens. We got a little dip here. So we got a nice little dip. Watching the NASDAQ here, we did have this big dip yesterday. And so maybe we got some, opportunity today here for everything else. Watching the NASDAQ pop up a little bit. All right, so we just made about $50 on the NASDAQ with a nice little green trade in our funded account. So in our funded account, we just made another $50. Brought ourselves back a little bit closer to flat on the day, which is really nice. Flat on the day now with a nice little NASDAQ trade on our funded account. And again, we're going to get ready to trade on that pretty soon here. Yeah, I would try both of them on paper. Thoughts on Bank? Well, so Bank acquired BANC acquired, what was it? Was it Western Alliance or PA? I think they acquired PACW, right? I believe that's correct, right? The PACW is still listed. Was it Western Alliance they acquired, or was it PACW for BANC? PACW was bought. Gotcha. Yeah. But PACW is still moving, so it's still owned by BANC now. There's going to be some correlation there. Would you ever go in with bigger size? And what? I mean, yeah, there's always, again, my system is very simple. Very simple. I build up a cushion first. And then once I have a cushion, I swing larger, right? And so I'll take a couple contracts at the NASDAQ right now, but I need to build up a cushion, or I'm going to probably go back to the micro NASDAQ for now. And then once I have that cushion, once I have a cushion on the micros of I would say once I have a cushion of $100, then I'll start trading the NASDAQ. I'll see if I can build up some cushion. That's the goal. That's the plan. And that's how I got funded as well. Again, let's look at our poll numbers here. All right. So today's a little bit slower. We did have Exxon numbers dropping there. Chevron dropped their numbers. So oil did play out today with earnings. How would you approach coming out of a 50% drawdown of your maximum loss allowance? What do you mean? So you're down $500 and $1,000 max loss? If you're in the 50K combat, is that what you mean? If that's what you mean, then it depends on where the account's at. You know, like for instance, if I'm up a couple thousand in the account and I'm really close to getting funded, I might just sit out the rest of the day with that $500 loss. If it's a fresh account, maybe you could swing harder. I think, you know, if you're down like half of your drawdown at least, I think you might want to consider just sitting out for the rest of the day and then coming back the next day so you get a full. Because I think when you're trying to get funded, you got to take risks, right? So you got to push, you got to trade size, you got to push, and having half of your daily max loss is severely restrictive on your ability to take larger risks. And so I think when you're trying to get funded, number one, I think you got to just go in with size and not be afraid to take risks. You know, my mistake, and again, you guys got to understand where I'm coming from here, which is that the way I day trade and swing trade, like again, toss over 25K, MooMoo, I've got over 25K in my account, right? But when I trade those accounts, I trade very small, even though I have that equity. Like I trade very small. If I can make $100, I'm happy, you know? So I trade very small. And so that transition from like trading stocks that way to trading futures in a funded account situation where you got to take larger risks was a hard transition for me because again, I'm used to trading an already funded account with 30K in it in stocks. And so I think I stayed on the micros way too long. Like I tried using the micros way too long when I was trying to get funded. I think once you're funded, you can use the micros all day and that's fine. And that's smart risk management. But when you're trying to get funded, I think you got to take risks. I think you got to take risks. You know, you got to swing when you got to swing, you know, because again, if you don't, it's just going to stall you from getting funded a lot of the time. But it's very subjective to where certain people are going to have better results doing trading micros. I'm not one of those people. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people that are going to have better results trading micros. I'm one of those people who I need to build up a cushion. And when I build up a cushion, I have one contract, you know, that's the type of trader I am. But again, it's a very subjective thing. Everybody's a little different, you know. I'm pretty sure, Joey, I'm not 100%. Again, Top Step is a funded program. Yeah, Financial Fight. Quant Tower is just one of the platforms I'm using for the funded program, but you can use like 20 different ones. You can use TradingView, a bunch of other ones. Yeah, I'll good 7. Look at the market rip. Market up 455 60s. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, they're the funded program. Check out the link in the description. That's where everything is. Is the description. We got Top Steps link. We got MooMoo link. We got Chart Primes link. All right. So who's watching the UFC this weekend? That's my only question right now. Who's watching the UFC this weekend? Dude, it's just a great card. Honestly, I'm excited for it. Who else picks for this card this weekend in the UFC? Again, we got Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje. Listen, I'm from Louisiana. All right, I'm from Baton Rouge, right? I should go with the Louisiana guy, but I kind of hope Gaethje wins. I kind of hope Justin Gaethje wins. The reason I kind of hope Justin wins is because he's fun to watch. I hope Dustin wins, but I won't be mad if Justin wins either, right? The reason, like, there could be a trilogy fight. If Dustin loses to Justin, they'll probably set up a trilogy fight because they fought once before, and it was a great fight. And Poirier won in, like, the 4th round. And then we got Jan. We have Jan versus Pereira, right? That'll be a great freaking fight. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus the other Michael Pereira, who's like a dancing fighter. He does like he learned like some dancing fight art, I think. Really fun to watch. Tony Ferguson, man, who's looked really chinny lately. I expect Bobby Green to beat Ferguson, but Ferguson's good, but I think Ferguson's chin is shot. I don't think he should be fighting anymore. I think his chin's over. Once your chin goes, and I think Tony's chin is gone. And then we got Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. I got to give it to Holland, but Chiesa can be kind of tricky with his submissions as well. So we'll see what happens. And then the prelims are all right, but my daughter went and saw the Barbie movie a couple days ago. She liked it, Let the good times roll. Yeah, trust me. If you're from Louisiana, you hear "Laissez les bon temps rouler" so much growing up. Let the good times roll. You hear that? You hear New Orleans, which is actually just New Orleans. That's how people from Louisiana say it. Only foreigners outside of not only people that aren't from Louisiana say New Orleans. Dustin is a better match to beat Makhachev. I don't think he's beating Makhachev either way, though. I don't know. I think Justin's got a good shot. Justin can take his legs out. That's the thing. I don't think anybody's beating Makhachev, though. I think he's going to stay champ. How do you say creek? A ditch is what I say. The worst accent attempts in movies is Louisiana. Some of them are right. I'm in New Orleans. Yeah. I met a Cajun once in San Antonio. Pretty interesting accent. Yeah, Cajun accent is kind of like, I might butcher this, but it's kind of like, you got to go to the store over there. Hey, ooh, Sha, you got to go to the store over there, huh? Like something like that. Like that's kind of like a Cajun accent. But I might have butchered that. I'm from New Orleans. Yeah, I love New Orleans. New Orleans is fun. I haven't been in a while, but my family, my dad's side's from New Orleans. Or some of them are, at least. A crick? I don't even know what a crick is. It's definitely not a crayfish, I'll tell you that. I've heard Jamaican accents. Yeah, I mean, I'm from like a little bit less than an hour away from New Orleans. So I'm pretty close to New Orleans where I'm from. But my accent's much different. I think my accent is kind of going away as time goes on too. I'm from Louisiana, but I've been on this stream for like 6 years now. And I think over time it just kind of goes away. I've lived in Texas for over a decade now too, so my son's actually from Texas. He's not from Louisiana. Love bugs, man. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people don't like. I went to my stepdad's Canadian, so he's from Canada. So I go up there and they just think I'm Texan. They just think I'm from Texas. Even when I lived in Louisiana and went up there, they thought I was from Texas because I guess it all sounds Texan to them, which is okay, I guess. But great, best food you'll ever have, though, for sure. Definitely better than anywhere else I've been. That's funny, Tiny. No, I mean, I'm just from Baton Rouge. I'm from the city. Love bugs. All right, so mark is popping up here, guys. Look at the SPY up to 456, 456. We got the Q up here at 381.30s, 381.30s. Yeah, I remember when I first started streaming, though, I was trying so hard. Like, I call it my customer service voice, because like I was trying so hard to not sound dumb, like, you know what I mean, that I just didn't really talk. And I've had some people critical of like my accent before, but it's like they gotta understand I'm from South Louisiana, so like we're gonna it's just more slang heavy. Like we just use more slang. We say fixin' to and like all this other stuff. Yeah, man, we drove to Michigan and love bug season's the worst, man. They're everywhere. Q's looking good though. Nasdaq's looking good. The trend is still the same, and again, so like people always try to trade reversals here, guys, but like again, like look how easy it is to identify these trends. All right, so like let's draw this real quick. We're about to pull up our futures account, but like look at this trend, right? Very obvious trend right here. Very obvious trend, right? So like why would you try to bet on a reversal of this trend right here? Seems like the worst idea ever. Just trade the trend. Like, listen, if you just buy these pullbacks, you're going to have so much success doing it most of the time. And that's as opposed to trying to bet on such a low probability thing like this trend going like this all of a sudden. Why would you ever bet on that? It doesn't make any sense. So just trade trends, guys. Sometimes they're choppy, and if they're choppy, just don't trade them. But trade trends. Again, reversals, like you could take extension. The only reversal trades I ever take are trades long-term in blue chip companies that are really beat up short-term. So like if a blue chip is down a lot short-term, I'll buy it up, but only because I'll hold it longer term if I need to. But in day trading, you got to just attack trends. And I'll show you, like here's Quant Tower. All right, again, we'll put Meta up here. What else? Meta, man, just going crazy. Meta at 316, 317 level. Again, you can see the Dow down about 0.67% on the day. Again, we are in our Express funded account today. We are funded here. We're basically flat on the day. Again, the job is to build up a cushion first. I'm probably going to switch to the micro NQ. Currently, the micro NQ. And then maybe we'll take a trade. We still got about 25 minutes or so until the market opens. But again, look how easy this trend is to identify. All right, it's like people try to trade reversals and all this stuff, but man, like these trends. Like, look at that trend. Like, just easy trends to identify. Just stick with the trends, guys. but the market does have massive shifts. 100% it might have shifts, but the market can crash too. But the mistake a lot of traders make, and I see it happen a lot. And again, I think people are biased by political reasons, like they want the current administration to fail or whatever it is, and so they just want the market to crash. And so confirmation bias makes them think the market's always about to crash to confirm what they want to happen is what happens, right? And again, I'm pretty neutral politically, so I'm not trying to bring up politics, but I think that's where a lot of like the really, really bearish outlooks come from, is from either people outside the U.S. that just don't like the U.S. and want to see it fail, or people that don't like, people that are too wrapped up in politics. But yes, the market makes massive shifts. Okay, so the market does make massive shifts, but predicting when that shift is going to be relative to the current trend is a terribly low edge thing. Like, you're not going to be able to predict where these massive shifts are going to happen that much. Like, trying to predict where they're going to happen is not going to work. It's much better to react to them when they do happen. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. People try to just predict, but it's incredibly difficult to predict those things. What's much better to do is just react to them when they do happen. You know what I mean? And so I think if traders just fix that one mistake in their thinking and their logic, they're going to have so much better results. Yeah, Alabama. Yeah, well, my dad's actually from Alabama. If NASDAQ can hit yesterday's high, that would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It could. And again, we did have PCE data today. All right, guys. So we are going to be day trading a bunch today. Let me find. All right, guys. We got 20 minutes. 20 minutes. There we go. I can't really get mad at Nick Saban for it, man. Again, I can't really get mad at Nick Saban. Like when he left LSU, he was trying to say it at the pros. I think he went to the Dolphins, right? So like, he was going to the Dolphins. Like, if I was him, I'd probably do the same thing. I know when he came back, he didn't come back to LSU, but I mean, Bama, I don't know. I can't really hate on him for it. Whenever you have a career like that, especially with regards to like coaching, typically the best move is to always kind of move on to other pastures after a certain period of time. And he won us our national championship, and he's probably the greatest college football coach ever. So, I mean, I can't really hate on him. Yeah, responding, reacting, all good. All right, so we got a little pullback here. See, we're confirming this trend as well. It doesn't mean we're going to stay in it, but we do have a little confirmation in this trend. We might be able to tighten this trend up a little bit too to something like this. Like, look at that trend. Looks pretty clean. It doesn't mean we're going to continue in it though, but we got a little trend here. I'm going to go ahead and buy this up. One contract of the NASDAQ. Micro. We'll take 2. Again, the job is to build up a cushion currently. And so this is a longer term trade that we might hold just throughout the open and up until the opening bell. So we're kind of at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to do a poll here. Are you guys red or green today? Red or green today so far, guys? Let me know. Looking at our YouTube poll here. We did a poll with Core PCE coming in as expected as the market closed green. 67% said yes. Again, are you guys red or green today, guys? Let me know. All right, so we are dropping down a little bit. We did lose a little bit here. We're mostly flat on the day. I'm going to stay in this to see if we continue this trend. The real name of the game, though, is to be cautious today. Again, I can trade one contract at the NASDAQ, but I can't sit on it for too long if it turns against me, and I have to trade smart. And then if I lose, I lose. I got to shut it down. Hopefully I make some money today, but... All right, so we're sitting pretty tight here. We only got 2 contracts, and this is our funded account. We start to break that anymore, I'm just going to cut it, even though we might be following this trend. Again, we're still pretty flat on the day. I just don't want to see like a massive trend break. We're still at the bottom range here. So I think when I do trade this funded account, especially with micros, I'm going to have to be a little bit more spaced out in between my additions. Like when I scale in, I got to space it out a little bit more than I did here, but... Sorry to hear that, Tony. Red holding a small hedge. Tepid green. Yeah, so a couple people asking about what happened in Japan. So basically what happened is that Japan's central bank, the Bank of Japan, said that it's going to continue to allow 10-year government bond yields to fluctuate in the range of plus and minus 0.5%, but it was going to, quote, conduct yield curve control with greater flexibility regarding the upper and lower bounds, not as rigid limits. And they also held its benchmark policy rate at minus 0.1%, which is in line with estimates. All right, so we're starting to flush down here. I'm just going to go ahead and sell this pretty soon. I'm going to let it test the bottom, but And again, we're pretty much flat on the day. We're just kind of getting used to trading the express funded account. Again, once the opening bell happens, we'll probably get a little bit more volatility from these ranges, but we got to just be patient, I think, too. And so again, we're consolidating at this level. Why does this matter in English terms? It matters because, you know, previously, hold on, I'm probably about to cut this trade. Hold on. Right at the bottom of my trend line. Okay, we just got a little bounce. It matters because the Bank of Japan has been pretty dovish, right? So this move is a little bit more hawkish than people expected them to be. They didn't expect this kind of like tweak currently. Now, the governor did play this down a little bit, but the markets certainly reacted negatively because they announced basically more flexibility in the monetary policy. Basically, they were going to be a little bit more hawkish than expected, a little bit more controlled monetary policy. So again, that made the markets react, and you can see the Q, the SPY all dropped pretty heavily throughout all this. All right, we're still trying to hold. We're still at the bottom of this trend, and again, we're still sitting in it. Again, our job is to trade the trend. Cement boots. What do you mean, Tobias? All right, so we're back up to about flat on the trade, with core PCE being in favor of a rate pause next meeting in the news of Japan. Yeah, I'm in. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to pay attention to this trade. This is my Express account, so I got to be a little bit more careful with it. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. I don't like that breakdown that's happening right there. That looks weak. This rejection and upwick looks weak. Hi. All right. But Jerome Powell didn't move the U.S. markets yesterday midday. That was a bond rate increase to 5%. Yeah, maybe so. Again, I wasn't really watching the market yesterday to see when this was announced, if I'm being honest. It's pretty customizable. Intel, surprisingly. Yeah, Intel's probably up on microchip news. And again, if you want to trade with me, I'm in a funded account program on Top Step. So if you haven't already, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Check them out. Again, they're a funded program. If you want to day trade, you should be trading futures, in my opinion, over stocks. A lot of people try to do a cash account, which you can only go long in. They try to like trade penny stocks, which is just very low edge in my opinion sometimes. And again, when you day trade futures, there's no PDT rule, and you can day trade the S&P, you day trade the NASDAQ, you can day trade currencies. So my Forex traders, a lot of you guys might like futures better. You can day trade gold and silver, and the patterns are very similar to something like Apple or Amazon, but there's no PDT restrictions. And Top Step funds traders if you're good enough. So they give you a demo. The base one's $50K. It's $49, and I think the sale ends this weekend, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's $49. They give you a $50K demo. If you can hit $3K in profit on that demo without losing $2K, they fund you, as long as you can follow their rules. And again, there's also other options with more buying power, 150K combine. It's a little bit more expensive, but just a great way to learn, and it limits your risk, but gives you a lot of the same rewards. So it's the best of both worlds, where you have limited risk. If you lose, you're down 49 bucks. But if you're good enough to pass it, again, you get 50K in funding with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K. And they pay out millions to their funded traders every year in actual withdrawals, and they fund thousands a year. And they're the most legit one in the world. But again, limited risk, a lot of the benefits, but they are a sponsor of mine, so I'm certainly biased in their favor, of course. But again, just really useful, and just taking the challenge builds your skill, in my opinion. Like, regardless of whether you win or lose, I think most day traders lose, not just on Top Step, but generally most day traders lose money, and it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step than it is to put the money up yourself, and I think this is a great way to learn. If you want to check it out, there's the link. Yeah, Intel ended up doing a surprise beat. But I think they beat because of microchips. I think they're up on microchips. Maybe I'm wrong, though. I don't know. But yeah, they expected a 3-cent loss. They ended up showing 13-cent profit. So a much better profit than expected. There's the numbers right here in Intel. All right, guys, we're going to get ready to day trade the opening bell. We got 7 minutes, guys, 7 minutes. Let's see if we get it. All right, so again, it looks like I got a little faked out here. The trend's still holding. We broke down a little bit, but that's all right. Again, there's more volatility after the opening bell, so that's just kind of what I'm sitting back waiting on. Again, we do have some other data dropping today. We got Michigan consumer sentiment data dropping as well. All right, so again, here's pull it back. Again, I've stopped really trading. I'm going to wait until the open to trade some more. Yeah, I mean, the NASDAQ rebalance was something, but nothing super major. I mean, nothing that really influenced it like that. It's still in this trend, but just at the bottom range. So I guess this would be like a time to buy, but I'm not telling you to buy. I don't know what we're going to get, but it looks like it's kind of the time to buy. NVIDIA is still up to 466.70s, guys. 466.70s for NVIDIA. Have you ever tried selling options? No. I think selling options comes with a lot of risk. I'd like to learn, but I think there's just a lot of risk there. And I also just kind of try to stick to what I know sometimes. Some guy said I'm staying at my grandpa's house for a few days. He couldn't figure out how to record his TV show, so he disconnected the Wi-Fi while I was playing 4 $200 sit and goes, 2 of which I was heads up with the lead. I timed out of all of them, and I'm now tilting. The ultimate crypto rug pull is when they eventually pull all of Sam Bankman's charges off. All right, so we're still testing this trend here after the opening bell. Sorry, we're about 25 minutes into the open and still testing the bottom range of this trend. We'll see if we end up breaking down. I can see Meta on the right side start to pull a little bit down. I'm also want to watch like a Meta and NVIDIA today because Meta and NVIDIA have had some big range movement over the last couple. Hey, thank you, Tobias. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, so here's the open. A little bit of consolidation here. Still looks like we want to hold the trend. And again, I'm kind of looking at Tesla here on the bottom right. Big dip since the opening bell. You can also see like Meta here on the right side. I also want to look at like NVIDIA also. All right, so we're consolidating down. I mean, we kind of look weak here. Big breakdown since the opening bell. Again, we got to let the market settle a little bit. Trying to trade now is pretty risky. Nvidia's starting to flush down, but again, we could get consolidation. It does look weak. Market's consolidating mostly, kind of going up and down, up and down. Market's down a lot, so I think there's some extension on the downside where we could push up. Letting the opening bell settle some. Big pump up now. So again, extension was on the downside. We are starting to move up a little bit. Watch Nvidia here, guys. Nvidia is the one to watch closely. Looks like the market wants to continue on this upward trend, but who freaking knows, man. Nvidia is starting to reject. I still think it looks pretty strong. Market's very volatile right now. Ripped up a little bit since the open. It's now pulling back some. Again, in our funded account, we're going to be very careful. Market's moving up. We're trying to let the dust settle from the opening bell first, guys. We also have Michigan consumer sentiment data trying to drop this morning, too. Market chopping back and forth. A lot of apprehension right now, I think, in the markets currently here, team. Big rip back down and up, man. Just a lot of volatility hitting at the open. Again, we're just kind of sitting tight. I don't want to get stuck in any of this, to be honest. Watching Nvidia try to hold. I don't mind that little hold. I'm going to go ahead and buy 2 contracts or 1 contract of the micro now. Micro NASDAQ. On the funded account I got. All right, 2 contracts now. See if we can continue this upward trend, and if not, it's going to be small. Again, we're about flat on the trade. I'd like to see it move all the way back up and continue the trend. I'm watching NVIDIA closely as well to see if that like influences this at all. Again, a little bit green on the trade now, but looking for a move back up. All right, we took half off just now, locked in some profit there. And then we reversed pretty quickly, so now we're back to down, and that's okay. Really choppy opening bell, though, guys, and it is Friday, so just be careful trading today, man. Market, I'm going to cut that. The market edge looks very small. Again, we're basically flat that whole trade. I don't think anything really looks good right now. I think if we start to break down, we might pivot to a short position. But y'all just be careful. Market is very suspect right now. Not really, like a lot of up wicks, a lot of down wicks. My hands are off for the time being until we find some edge. Wow, look at this up wick, dude. What a weird movement on the charts today, guys. If I have a bias, I guess it's short, but who knows, man? This choppy action could do anything, to be honest. And there's a huge rip. Huge surge. Yeah, just be careful. This is probably eating accounts today. Y'all just be careful. Look at that rip. Is this some news? Is this some news? Whoa. All right, so we're looking at our old trend, but man, my hands are kind of off. What stock rallied to drag the market up, I guess is the question. Apple's up. Microsoft's up. Tesla's up. Yes, that's what it is. Again, there's very little edge in this for me. Huge surge in the NASDAQ, guys. You gotta remember, build a cushion first before you take large risks in days like today. What a great move. I mean, the market's very strong. I mean, this is really strong, but like the question is like, how does it hold this? You know what I mean? Huge run. Again, the goal is to build up a cushion, and if I can't, we're just going to chill. We're also going to trade an off stream in some of our other accounts, try to get funded. Roku's not going to be the one dragging the market up. Yeah, I mean, Dish is up today, but it's been dropping for the last few days. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this trend because this trend's just kind of a distraction. I'll leave the top trend line because I think this might signal where that could be holding support. Again, Tesla up nicely today. Finally starting to get a little dip. I don't know. We're up a little bit too much for me to really be super interested in buying up this, to be honest. Now it's starting to struggle a little bit. Looks like it might be starting to slow down some, but who knows, man? The momentum of buys coming in is probably still pretty heavy too on the Q and NASDAQ here. Looks like it's going to flush more. Yeah, there it goes. Just a huge reversal. Kind of like picking pennies up in front of the train track, guys. Just be careful. I'm going to go ahead and buy this little dip here in the NASDAQ, but who knows what happens here. All right, got a little bounce. Might add a little bit more to it just in case we continue running. There's two contracts here. There we go. I took half off there. I just made a little back to flat on this account on the day. I don't mind this little dip buy here. I'm going to take one contract. I'll take two. I just took half off there. I'm going to cut that. So we brought us up to green on our Express account. So we're now green there. We're up about 20 bucks. Not a bad. Again, job is to build a cushion there too. It's like kind of like a bear flag or a bull flag. Man, look at Tesla rip. Tesla's kind of helping drag this up. Again, very calculated today. Job is to be very smart and safe. Hey, thanks, DS. Thank you so much. Have a little dip. Very volatile price action. So look at that trend line hold on the bottom. Still moving up some. And again, check out TopStep if you haven't yet, guys. Funded program. This is what I'm trading on. I'm funded on TopStep. This is my Express account. You can see it on the top right. 90% split is what I have, and I get to keep my first 10K in profit here. And again, they give you a demo and they test your skill. Most people are going to fail because most day traders lose. And it's not TopStep's fault. Most day traders lose. But it genuinely builds your skill just being in it. And TopStep pays out millions every year, and actual withdrawals fund thousands of traders a year. They're the most legit funded program in the world. They've been around for over a decade. And it's just really useful in terms of building your skill. If you want to day trade, you should be doing futures because there's no PDT in futures. You don't need 30,000 to day trade futures. And you can day trade the S&P. You see me day trading the Q basically here, which is the NASDAQ. The Q is the NASDAQ, so you see me day trading the micro Q. And again, there's no PDT rule once you're funded. So again, you can check them out here. Great way to help support the channel. They are a sponsor of mine, but again, very useful. And also, guys, remember, in 11 minutes, we have Michigan consumer sentiment data. So again, in 10 minutes, we got consumer sentiment and expectations data. All right, guys. Yeah, guys, again, let me know what you guys think. University of Michigan consumer sentiment data. Market's flying up as expected. Again, UMich consumer sentiment data is expected at 72.6. Higher reading means more sentiment. Netflix moving. Do they give you a password? Yeah, they give you login info. Again, I don't know what to do right now. Again, we caught this little bounce on this trend line. You can see the trend line we drew earlier, and you can see exactly where we bounced off of it. Also, something else that I'm using here is Chart Prime. Honestly, very accurate. Again, they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased, of course, and I always try to tell you guys the truth there. But just really useful, man. Like, look at this. So Chart Prime is a trading view indicator service, and you can use it in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. You can use it on Apple. You can use it on Tesla. You can use it on whatever you want. My favorite one personally here is called, the Micro, or it's called the Market Oracle Pro. Right, my favorite one's called the Market Oracle Pro. But like you can kind of see here, they've got all these different options. They've got chart patterns, oscillators, smart money concepts, if you like looking at all of these. And again, you can see on this left side, it'll like pull it all up. You can see the wedge pattern here. You can kind of see smart money concepts once they form. There's two of my favorite ones. The Market Oracle Pro is incredibly useful because like it shows you these strong sell and buy signals. And again, I've noticed that they're incredibly accurate short term on a 1 minute chart. And again, if you can use them within the wedge, it's even better. But like you can kind of see the chart patterns. You can kind of see this Market Oracle, the smart money concepts telling you whether something's like discounted or not. You could also tune these a little bit, but like look at the Market Oracle Pro. Sell signal here drops for a long time. Buy signal here, bounce for a long time. Sell signal here, drops. Buy signal here, bounce. Sell signal here, drops. This one might have been wrong. Strong sell signal here. The strong ones are the really good ones. Look, nice bounce. And again, this is a 1 minute chart. You can also use the regular Market Oracle here. So if you look at the regular Market Oracle here, it'll give you reversal signals, which I haven't been using as much, but I still think there's a lot of value in that. Reversal down, drop. Reversal up, bounce. Reversal up, drop. This one was wrong. Reversal down, drop. Reversal up, bounce. Reversal down, a little bit of a drop. And so you can see that as well, but there's just so many different things. You can use them on any time frame, and it's $35 a month. So it's just really cheap. And again, be careful, guys. The University of Michigan data comes out pretty soon in less than 10 minutes. And so just be careful. But yeah, if you want to check out Chart Prime, there's the link. Again, great way to help support the channel. You can get 40% off actually if you use my link. And there's the link right there. You get 40% off if you use my link. But again, just really useful in my opinion. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money. They're a sponsor of mine. But to be honest, prior to Chart Prime, I was very skeptical of like these indicator services. I really was. Once I started looking at them, I realized just how useful they are. Market's still just pumping up here, just ripping. But yeah, this will be the last plug I'm doing for Chart Prime. I'm still going to keep them and use them and maybe stay on as an affiliate, but they're not going to be a sponsor of mine anymore after today's plug. But yeah, check them out. Genuinely useful. Again, I'm definitely happy I work with the company. I think, again, I was skeptical of these indicator services prior to them. And then when they showed me their software, I was like, man, that's actually pretty cool. But yeah. Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin doing? But yeah, we're just going to keep it 2 sponsors from now on, make it a lot easier. Bitcoin at 29,500, 29.5K. Again, here goes the Michigan data. Green? You guys red or green today? Green? I'm a little green in my Express funded account. I'm red in some of the other ones, but again, Michigan data drops in about 3 minutes, guys. So y'all just be really careful. And again, just to put it into perspective, number one, today's our last plug of Chart Prime, so they're not going to be a sponsor of mine anymore. And again, it was my decision, but I just think we probably 3 sponsors is a little bit too much for me to manage, so we're just going to keep 2, keep it easy. But again, Michigan consumer data drops in about 3 minutes. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. We do maybe 1 plug every hour, you know, maybe 1 plug every 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes. And I think when you compare that to something like the radio, who's doing a commercial every 20 minutes, I think it's reasonable. Light green. Yeah, I'm kind of light green as well today. Nice. All right, we're going to take 1 contract here, add up to 2 if we get a large enough pullback on the NASDAQ. So that's 1 contract of the micro NASDAQ. Nice little bounce back up. All right, just made another $10 or so. So again, we're kind of scalping little baby money, but again, it's my first day. I don't want to, like, again, job is to build a cushion. So we're up about 20 bucks. Green, green. We're going to look for the Michigan data right here. We're going to cover the Michigan data as soon as it drops in about 2 minutes. Again, expectations for Michigan consumer sentiment is 72.6. Consumer expectations 69.4. Higher means more sentiment and expectations. Tesla dipping down a little bit too. It's how important is it's 2 out of 3 stars, so it's like it's medium importance. It's not like PCE, it's not like all that stuff. It's just medium importance. It's not like super major. And we got about 40 seconds left. Just make sure you hit the live button next to the play button to make sure you're caught up. I'm gonna halt my trades for now while this data is about to come out. I don't know what Tesla's going to do next week. Nobody does, man. Again, anybody that tells you they know what Tesla's going to do next week is just lying to you. They might have a 50-50 chance of getting it right, but nobody knows. I hope it goes up. I don't know, though. All right, here's the data release right here, guys. All right, there's the Michigan consumer data. Again, we came in lower than expected on all 3. Lower than expected on all 3. Inflation expectations came in as expected, but the rest of it came in lower than expected on all of it. Current conditions 76.6 versus 77.5. Consumer sentiment 71.6 versus 72.6. Consumer expectations 68.3 versus 69.4. 5-year inflation expectations 3% versus 3.1% expected. So again, lower than expected on everything, which I guess with an inflation fearing market is good because the market's pushing up a little bit. So again, lower than expected on everything. Here is that data on screen, guys. If you want to check it out, here is the data right here. We had 71.6 versus 72.8. Big pushes up on the NASDAQ, though. Might be still holding that trend line that we drew here. Look at this. We drew this trend line. Still holding over it. Market's starting to push back up. Tesla moving up a little bit. Nvidia's kind of flat. Bitcoin's still pushing up to about 29.5K. All right, Bitcoin at 29.5. Again, Nvidia's starting to push up. It's at $467 a share now, over 467. It's at 467.20. Market's liking this data. It's moving up a little bit. It's at about 15.8 thousand on the NASDAQ. Still surging up. Nvidia breaking highs, Tesla breaking highs. So very bullish movement here. Again, if you haven't already subscribed, guys, we cover this data for free every week right here on YouTube. We're almost up to 112,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, man. It's been a crazy year for growth on this channel, to be honest. It really has. You know, we broke 100K. Almost up to 112,000 now. So thank you guys so much. It's a dream of mine running this channel, and you guys helped me hit it. So thank you so much. You know, regardless of whether we get haters, which I know we do, but anytime you're doing something cool, you're going to have people insecure about their own selves that hate on you. And that's okay. Like, listen, you know, if it's therapeutic for them to hate people online, let it out. It's all right. You know, they're just not where they want to be. But I am, and I'm very proud of this channel, and I really do appreciate everybody at home. Thank you guys so much for everything. Definitely appreciate the love. And I'm going to enjoy this weekend. It's been a super busy week, man. Check out the week on the channel here. Check this week out. Check out the week on the channel here. So it's been a fun, although busy week on the beginner trading channel. Check this out. Look at that. So it's a busy week. Jerome Powell, we got 32,000 hits for that one, man. That's just great. Meta, we got over 8K. You know, last week we had Tesla earnings. We had over 15,000 views. So thank you guys so much, man. It's been fun. We had CPI. You know, just been a really fun couple weeks. Been a really great week for the channel. You can see in the last 48 hours, we got over 50,000 clicks. So thank you so much. We appreciate the love. Of course, as always, guys, y'all have a safe and happy weekend. Again, I appreciate the love so much. And thank you, guys. I appreciate the love. You're awesome, man. I love it. I'm learning so much. I'm always telling my husband everything I've learned. My husband is like, damn, who's John? Yeah, that's all good, Alexis. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long week for sure. It's been a busy week, of course. Yeah, it's been a busy week. So BG, so I think the lower sentiment is good because of inflation, I guess, but I don't know. The market sometimes is just nonsensical. It did interpret it as bullish. I don't know why. You know, we could all try to figure that out. Nobody knows. Sometimes the market's just nonsensical. Inflation expectations were neutral, and I think current conditions coming in lower than expected. I think to a certain extent with like the Fed pausing next cycle and inflation coming in as expected. You know, inflation fears are there. You know, inflation, the 5-year inflation expectations were lower than expected at 3% versus 3.1%. And so, you know, the Michigan 5-year inflation expectations did come in lower than expected. So, yeah, I don't know. Y'all's guess is as good as mine, but either way, markets rip it up. It could also just be extension from yesterday's drop. Again, if we look at the NASDAQ over the last few days, you know, we did have that big drop yesterday and everything. So maybe it's just bouncing back up, catching back up on that extension. You have a great weekend. Thank you, 10. Thank you, Yair. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you, Grape. You have a radio voice. Thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah, y'all be safe. Love you all. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys.